a legal perspective, but from life generally. It is very, very skewed.
We've just heard on the floor of Parliament, just most recently, a leader within the ODM saying that Sisi ni ng'ombe is a baba.
Yeah.
Which means that you are willing to be milked dry.
You cannot force me to believe. I'll give way. If it's land that I'm told to return to you, I will. Okay? Because the court has said so. But I'll continue saying, watu wamenirusha. That's all that I'm doing.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
You tuned into Kenya's biggest conversation. My name is Ramanya.
Amen.
So 1 hour is over?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It gets over
Can you imagine
in 20 minutes.
what the big boys have also done?
I'm very proud of myself.
When you understand about partnership in politics, it's like the way marriage is these days. When you're looking for a wife, you're like, maybe you can help me pay for fees as I pay for the rent.
Why should you have a lioness living in your bedroom?
I have to tell you a story. I went for a prayer meeting, which was called for the spouses of candidates for senators and governors. And when I got to the gate, the lady who was the secretary, she refused to. She's telling me, no. Leo tunataka wa mama. Leo ni wa mama. I'm telling her, no. She said, no, sio siku yenu. And I thought, there's a problem here, because if it was a man, but this was a lady.
It will be called First Ladies until you change the name.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
One of the things that are ailing our country is negative ethnicity. You find you as a state officer, instead of thinking as a Kenyan, you think like a tribal person.
Let me tell you something. The biggest problem we have had in this country is a leadership deficit. There is nothing that you are going to do in the process of change if you are not a risk taker. So you really have to pursue your vision to a logical conclusion and even be ready to step on people's toes.
When it comes to the economy, you can run away with it. They say statistics are like bikinis. They reveal a lot, but they conceal the vitals. And so government people would throw statistics at you and tell you they're revealing a lot of information to you, but it's really concealing the real vitals.
We need to get out of that, because when we want to grow our democracy, one basic thing that really requires to be understood by the political class, by all of us, is institutions are critical.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Thank you very much, Eric, and it's good to be at the Situation Room.
Always a pleasure coming here. This is the most challenging interview panel in Kenya. You guys are very well informed, and as you can see, Charles today, very philosophical. To be poor in this country is the greatest sin you can commit, not just from a legal perspective, but from life generally. It is very, very skewed.
We've just heard on the floor of Parliament, just most recently, a leader within the ODM saying that Sisi ni ng'ombe is a baba.
Yeah.
Which means that you are willing to be milked dry.
You cannot force me to believe. I'll give way. If it's land that I'm told to return to you, I will. Okay? Because the court has said so. But I'll continue saying, watu wamenirusha. That's all that I'm doing.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Good morning, it's Monday. What's happening? Rain's coming down and slowing things down considerably. Let's take a look at what the streets will look like through today. Not much coming off into the CBD, at least not for now. We'll see some traffic coming off Jogo Road, heading out towards Landis, and some off of Haile Selassie. It's busy as you get towards Capital Centre and Mombasa Road. There's some traffic there that's slowing things down. The thicker superhighway not looking too bad right about now. Kangundo Road is starting to pile up as you get towards Outer Ring. And we'll see some traffic coming off from Gong Road. We'll see what happens with that later. SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
This This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
This was my mic. Kumbe it was away. Hey, how you doing?
Salam.
Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation. It's the second week of July 2024. It's the 8th. The day after Sabasaba. Mambo vipi Ndu?
Niko poa.
Uko
hai.
Uko hai?
Yeah.
Mzee?
Sema baba.
Mambo namna gani?
Mambo mazuri. Maisha ni nzuri kusema kweli. Mambo sio mazuri vile lakini maisha ni nzuri.
Ubuheri wa afya.
Bwana we. Yes.
How was your Sabasaba?
Sabasaba was contemplative. Kwa siku ya kukaa na kuwaza. Kuangalia yale yaliyopita. Kuangalia yale yaliomo. Na kadhalika. Yes, that is kile hicho.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the gist. I don't know what gist is in Kiswahili.
Yeah.
But that is the gist of it.
Yep. It's a gist.
The gisty.
It's the gist. Mine was quiet. I had some work I was doing. I'd have wanted to be in Kimana because yesterday Saba was Mama Eric's 77th birthday.
It usually is. How about that? 7-7.
Yo, Baba was I.
And I've wanted to be there with her, but
how is she?
She's very well.
7 is good, man.
On the 7th of the 7th. I love to hear it.
This was a very, very, very good day. Saba to be 77. Yeah. Lakini ako sawa na alisema niwasalimie wa Kenya.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Tumeshukuru sana.
Mmezipokea
kabisa bwana.
Kwa moyo mkunjufu.
Hivyo.
Yeah.
Si ndio? Yes. City. Hiyo imeharibu zaidi.
Imeharibu zaidi. Yani mahali tulikuwepo hata let. Regesha yeye hapa sisi na punguza.
We are talking about my glasses and CT is helping me to do like that to the glasses so that we can have them on.
Yani mimi sasa ndio mambo ufundi wa mtambo. Na ufundi inaonekana imeenda mrama. Okay. Wacha ufundi isiende mrama vile.
Yesterday we also saw what happened and it was yesterday 7 Sabasaba was different from the previous 34 Sabasabas, 33 Sabasabas. Yesterday Sabasaba was in commemoration. Emotional, isn't it?
Quite.
Yes, when Kenyans say, you know what, we are doing this not because we don't like our country or we don't love our country. We are doing this because we love our country.
Because we do.
Yes.
We're doing this because we are.
Because we are Kenyans. Daima, mimi ni Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo. And how do you portray patriotism? By being active. That's why the Kenyans were out there being active. We'll have several conversations around, and this is what we do on this show, just looking at how we translate everything that's happening into national conversations. At 7 a.m., we'll be joined by Abdullahi Alas, who's the executive director of Elite Crew Consulting Limited, and also one of the very, very active Kenyans. Federalism, Majimbo, quest for better governance in Kenya. Let's hear Abdullahi's thoughts on what's been happening lately with the Gen Z protests, with the response to it, and everything else. And, what then goes into the future. One of the other conversations that's currently now, finance bill out. But we must discuss, though, what happens next.
Indeed.
What else do Kenyans want? Once you've done with the finance bill, people are not opposed to raising taxes. People are opposed to the spending of taxes. And they still expect something to happen there. We'll be joined by two people who have taken action, and they are testing the law. The people of Kabete constituency have said, see, there's a law on recall. It exists.
How can you
We can actually recall an MP.
Mm.
So instead of just making noise, how about we actually recall our member of parliament? They have launched a signature drive to go into the whole process of recalling the member of parliament. One of the people who are very, very active in Kabete constituency is human rights defender and award-winning actor Ndongi Githuku. He'll be joining us at 8 a.m. alongside Advocate Eric Morioki, who's been very, very active in these protests, and he understands very well the cases that have gone to court on matters of recall of members of parliament. So those two, 8 a.m., that's a conversation. And then at 9, we'll have a national conversation. Very many people active on social media. Santeni Sana, we're back like we never left. It's 19 minutes after 6. After Ndu gives us the weather forecast, we will be saying hello to you.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. The weather with SpiceFM.
It's a rainy morning in Nairobi, 15 degrees. We'll see highs of 24 and lows of 13. Cloudy at 14 in Nakuru with highs of 24, and we'll see highs of 23. In a partly cloudy Nyeri at 14. We're looking into a cloudy Eldoret at 12 degrees with highs of 22. And into Mombasa, it's clear at 22 with highs of 29. Malindi will see highs of 29, or it's clear at 23. We're looking into a cloudy Kisumu at 19 with highs of 27, while Kakamega at 16 is cloudy. We'll see highs of 26. Kampala is cloudy at 19, highs of 27, and Dar es Salaam at 23 is cloudy, going to highs of 31. And we're looking into a clear Johannesburg, albeit at 3 degrees. We'll see highs of 9 and lows of -3. Mogadishu will be sunny through Monday. It's 25 degrees, highs of 30, and Addis Ababa raining at 14. We'll go to highs of 21 and lows of 13. Lagos this morning is cloudy at 25 with highs of 29, and it's partly cloudy at 21 in Kinshasa with highs of 30. We're looking into a sunny Beijing, 29 degrees Monday afternoon with highs of 33. It's 13 and cloudy in Paris with highs of 24, and London at 13 is cloudy, going to highs of 18. Sunday night at 26, New York is clear, coming into Monday, highs of 33 and lows of 24.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
21 minutes after 6.
Okay, Coach Kevin says good morning and welcome back. Danson Gidumbi, where? Finally. Alex, good people, how are you doing? Alex is here. Alex, good morning to you. Alex talks about himself in the third person. Good to have you in the room this morning. Stephen Kihonyo says, good morning. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the revolution, buddies. Alex Mnai says, my lovely people, missed you guys. Welcome back. Mucho love. Mucho gracias, my dear. Good morning, folks. I was totally worried. A lovely week.
We were worried as well.
We were also very worried. Ivan Zentavo says, good morning. And Nyaboke, happy Monday. Love you guys. Menda, he says. Welcome back, Moses says. A lot of questions in my head, in mine too. Johnson Chelimo says, welcome back. Finally, says Charles Masharia, tuned in from Kuwait. Welcome back, great minds. Good morning, guys. Missed you. Kisses to you as well. Top of the morning, good people. Make it a great day. Let's try, says Toti. Good morning, good people. Spice it up. Jimmy, good morning. Brian Oginga said, CT, remember the proverb about he who stands on an anthill is still on the ground. Now the ants are climbing the person and biting hard. Indeed. Masharia Jeru says, good morning, tuning from Portland. Welcome back. Good morning from Wichita. Kenya is changing for the best. It is. Wow, good to see you guys back. That was a good break, really. Silas Owitu says, good morning. John K says, we hope this is the week that Zakaya will finally dissolve his entire cabinet.
Yote.
Well, let's see, shall we? Mkwama says, good morning, we missed you. Good morning, it's good to be back. Welcome back. It's been a long wait, says Peter. Good morning to Eric C.T. Gote, Ednah. There you go. The gens are really shifting the nation. Lucky Summer is locked. many people here. Welcome back, says David. Remy Luande says, good to have you guys in the room. Jason Chelimo is also here. Agola Yani, she says, okay, you guys are forgiven. Welcome back. Sawa, Agola, we hear you, Linda. Bernardo Kello says, good morning. At least the malaria is now gone. Glad you're back, says PK. Stephen Ogeta, good morning. Who threw you under the bus? If I tell you about the bus. Alex Vundi. Jimmy Monovi says, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Across board. Ndu looks down. Is that so? Don't worry, my dear. To be sour. Emmanuel Maenda says, Niwe ma miss. Miss Pia. Kennedy Anyonya says, good morning. Who switched you off last week? Let any details. Sai.
Washughulikie, si ndio?
Hey, washughulikie. UT says, good morning. Please don't disappear like that again. Tune in from Nanyuki. Great to have the trio back. Hello, Princess Nduleo. How are you this morning? Good to have you here as well. The 2000 Standard Media Group. Okay, we see you. Joseph Odigi says, good morning. Welcome back from Kisi. Bernardo Kello is tuned in. Zachary, we see you guys. I'm telling you, mucho love. Bernard, we see you. Mboro Kamau, Mwangi Kabogi. He said he just woke up to confirm that we're back on air. Now he'll go back to sleep and wake up later.
Now he can sleep.
Yeah, now he can sleep. Lake Rock said, I felt like I'd lost my voice. I was almost going crazy last week. Ndu, you look troubled. Were you kidnapped? My sister, I beg. Welcome back, guys. We missed you. Dave says, good morning. You guys need to apologize.
We apologize.
Good morning, everybody. We see you. I didn't get to you, but I see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Karibuni sana kila mtu city.
Yes.
How about the proverb? Where are you this week?
We are in an island nation. These island nations, this continent is awash with island nations. There's one called Sao Tome and Principe. Is that how it's pronounced? Principe. Because it's written Principe.
Does it have an accent on the E?
Accent is that little stick that goes down.
Yeah.
I think it does have something like that. Sao Tome and Principe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if it has, what does that mean?
Pe. So there's accent grave and there's accent aigu. Accent aigu, you say e. Accent grave, you say e. So it really depends.
And me, I thought I'd ask a simple question. Now we have gra and we have goo. All right, let's go with the goo, shall we? The goo for the day.
Actually,
yes.
The accent is on the Tome.
On the Tome?
Yeah.
So Pansap?
Must be, this one must be, must
it's
be
Portuguese, this.
Yeah, it's Portuguese.
Not French.
It's not French.
No.
So the A has an akathingi.
Garadovia.
Yeah.
Kofia.
And then the E in Tome has a kathingi, and the Principe does not have.
So this Principe, it's not French, definitely.
It's not French. It's
Portuguese.
Yeah. You said you call them what? Lasso what?
Lusophone.
Those ones.
Lusophones.
Okay.
Luso.
Yeah.
There you're going to say, are they luophone? No. Luso. So. Do not blame God for creating the tiger, but thank him for not giving it wings.
Where? Toduma.
Uyagami. Now in my language, that's what you've said. Uyagami. The what?
Yeah. Do not blame God
for creating the tiger, but thank him for not giving it wings.
That's a good one. Fanya like that, Ndu.
Sasa? Okay.
Ukona gazeti hapo.
In the paper?
Yes.
To fire or keep? Ruto's cabinet dilemma. President William Ruto faces probably the biggest test of his presidency on who to fire from cabinet. In a government where loyalty precedes any other qualification, Ruto faces a Herculean task of letting go of his friends. Can you imagine? In a government where
he's held captive by loyalty.
Other qualifications. You don't have to have a wit in you. You don't have to have anything in your brain. So long as you're loyal.
Are you loyal to me?
Gosh.
Then I owe you this.
Exams quandary as KNEC budget is slashed to zero. Yani? Hey, okay. So yes, we did see that concert in the city yesterday, and I think it was a fantastic show.
Yes.
Of patriotism and loyalty. In honor of fallen Gen Z protesters, thousands gather at Nairobi's Uhuru Park for the Sabasaba Memorial Concert in honor of youths who were killed during protests against the Finance Bill 2024. So that happened in the city And it was really a moment to see. Now, doctors gonna down their tools over interns' medical cover.
They're back at it, are they?
That's right.
And the reason this time around is the same reason as before.
Yeah. In this case,
interns' medical cover.
Yeah, lightning can strike more than once.
This one is striking very many times. In fact, you could say it's lightning country.
Absolutely. Doctors, backed by Gen Z protesters, intend to storm Afia House to push the Ministry of Health to post intern doctors and provide comprehensive medical cover to civil servants. Now, they came to an agreement, but you know what? Still, the doctors have not gone to their posting. Till today, they've not gone.
Don't worry, you'll be told
stories.
Constraints.
Story.
And now with the budget cuts.
You see now, the people did not pass the finance bill. So we don't have extra money to post these guys to their stations.
But you see, their situation was determined by the previous finance bill, which was passed, isn't it?
No, their situation, as they were told, was determined on the by the promise of that the next budget we are going to allocate the money. Now that Kenyans have refused to raise the money, see now we can't allocate money.
We can't allocate money.
Okay.
My good Lord. Push to have Kiswahili National Council formed. That should be interesting. French vote in final round of elections. That was an interesting weekend. Biden warns Mr. Ruto on corruption in Kenya.
Biden.
Yeah.
He's warning Ruto.
That's right. He's warning.
That story is on page...
we'll have to see that one.
It's on page 20 of the business.
I will need to see.
Okay. Crazy. Let me tell you what's in the Taifa Leo. Ruto bado hapumui.
Bado. Kanyaga. Step on his neck. That's what's going on.
Gen Z watangaza kurejea barabarani Alhamisi kwa maandamano ya kuzidisha pressure kwa serikali ya Ruto. And they have a photo of President Ruto there. And then it's superimposed on a photo of Gen Z's on the street. Pressure. Watoa shutuma kali dhidi ya utawala wa Kenya Kwanza katika maandamano ya Sabasaba. Kalonzo naye apuuza mabadiliko yaliyotangazwa na Rais Ruto. Kalonzo amesema serikali ya Rai EAC iunge Raila katika kazi ya AUC. Serikali ya Rai EAC iunge Raila katika AUC. Tuanze. Serikali unajua ni nini?
Government.
EAC unajua ni nini?
East Africa Community.
Raila unajua ni nani?
Namjua sasa.
AUC unajua ni nini? Haya. Serikali ya Rai EAC iunge Raila.
Iunge is now where I'm stuck.
Support.
To support.
Oh, support. Okay, so EAC. Right. So the EAC as a community is supporting Raila's bid to the AUC.
Serikali ya Kenya ina Rai EAC iunge.
The government of Kenya is asking for support from the EAC for Raila's AUC bid.
Very good.
Voila.
Very good. Haya. Wacha tuone kama unaweza tafsiri hii. Gachagua alia, mbunge amhujumu. Gachagua alia.
Cried.
Mjumbe.
MP.
Mjumbe.
Hujumu him.
Amhujumu. Alalamika mbunge wake wa Madera ni kikwazo kwa vita dhidi ya pombe. Gachagua is crying. He's wailing.
He's complaining that the MP of his constituency is not doing enough to fight alcoholism.
You've gotten the gist of it. Actually, in fact, he's actually hindering.
He's the hindrance.
Okay. This Kiswahili is hard, man.
Kiswahili?
Just when I thought I had.
Sindio?
I think this is a push. Remember making Kiswahili a national language? You've started it. Hapa.
Sisi angalia kwenye grupu kuna screenshot ya The Star pale.
Niko nayo hapa by the way mimi. Niko nayo.
Tupatie basi.
Ile sita. Alright, lakini hata kwa group bado ndio kile ambacho kiko mbeleni kabisa. Hustler. Sorry, I've run ahead of myself. Revealed. Yes, I knew I had something right there. Revealed a big financial mess at Hustler Fund. Zenye watu bana. Wana shida kubwa hii. Right? Audit unearths major irregularities in President Ruto's key flagship project. I wanasema hivi, what happens, there are very many unregistered people who got money. Let me read it. Yes, taxpayer may have lost money disbursed to non-registered users. How does that happen?
Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
Then audit. You know, this audit keeps going on. 14 billion unexplained expenditure rocks universities. So universities have problems. They haven't paid their people. There's this and that. But auditors saying, there's some 14 billion you guys were given. You spent it. And we are not, you can't explain how that thing was spent. So we have a problem here, people. We have a problem. Okay. Then, second case, vaccine. Derived alarm after poliovirus found in... Hey, this story is not good. Okay, let me just read it. Health officials have found traces of poison. Sorry, not poison. Let me start again. Health officials have found traces of poliovirus in a sewage sample collected from Nairobi, raising alarms on the risk of city residents. The sample was collected on May 15th. It tested positive for the circulating vaccine-derived poliovirus type 2 at the Kenya Medical Research Institute labs. If you find traces of this virus in the water, what does it tell you? That somebody, if the virus was being produced or manufactured, somebody in the process is actually releasing some of these into the Nairobi River.
Jeez.
Yes, it's the only way, because if you say you dump it in the river, yes, but that is one spot. But for it to have traveled, because when you take samples, it's not as though you go to just one place and take a sample. No. Sampling requires you take it from this spot, you go upstream, you go further downstream, and you say, hey, we seem to be having this situation. This one requires explanation.
Crazy.
Okay.
The word for today is crazy.
Then bang in the middle of the paper. Bang in the middle of the paper. Gen Z remembers comrades killed in protests.
Gen Z remembers comrades killed in protests.
Yes, that is bang in the middle, man. This is a very, very large crowd of Kenyans.
It was a very good rally.
It was an excellent rally.
Yes. 25 minutes to 7. Let's take this break to take a look at the traffic, and then we will look at those stories in detail.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your...
Baba boy, gas imeisha, shopping imeisha, na ujue tokens bado zinalia.
Msupa, nipe mbao na 20 minutes.
Mbao, like 20 bob. 20 minutes, kwani kuna nini? Na ujue mimi nataka kupika haki.
Jaber, kwani ujui daka mamilini every 20 minutes, halafu wanapea na 10 million every 20 minutes, na hadi kuna 3 millionaires every hour.
Daka mamili virahisi. Uko na nafasi 3 ya kuwa millionaire kila hour. Usipitwe. Cheza daka. Ushike mita yako sasa. Chagua nambari zako 4 za bahati and win up to 10 million every 20 minutes. Nenda kwenye paybill 440440. Account Spice amount. Cheza na shilingi 20 hadi shilingi 2,000 na ushinde mamilioni. Daka mita. Kuwa bingwa.
Okay, there's traffic in the city this morning, and it's mostly on the Thika Superhighway coming through towards the Pangani Tunnel. Okay, what else is going on? Traffic on Jogo Road heading out towards Landis. Landis is clear as you get towards Kamkunji and onto Outer Ring. There's some traffic here as well. It's starting to build up coming in from the Eastern Bypass, then going towards the Embakasi Loop. Kangundo Road was busy from the jump, and we're seeing traffic then getting towards Outer Ring. Let's look on the Thika Superhighway coming in from Githurai. Clayworks out towards Kasarani. And then towards Garden City, there is quite some traffic here this morning. Looks like it's going to be a busy Monday. Keeping an eye on things this morning. Let's see what happens as we get into traffic hour. Talk to us on SpiceFM, KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
I saw my story.
Sasa, doctors to down tools and push for medical cover and posting of interns. Today, doctors backed by Gen Z protesters intend to storm Afia House.
Today?
Today. Boss, Kanyaga Kabisa. It's not a matter of we wait until tomorrow. They've said they're demanding action in what is dubbed as Occupy MOH. The medics want the Ministry of Health to post intern doctors and provide comprehensive medical cover to civil servants under the Social Health Authority, which is SHA. The medics, consisting of mostly young doctors who fall within the Generation Z age bracket, plan to join the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dental Union to camp at the ministry's offices. KMPDU Secretary General Dav Giatella told The Standard in an interview that according to Return to Work formula, the ministry was to post interns by the 6th of July 2027. So they should have been posted by Saturday. Were they? Is there even a sound?
6th of July 2027.
2024, my dear.
Okay, 2024.
So that has not happened yet. However, by yesterday, posting was yet to be actualized. At least there should have been a list. There was nothing. According to Atella, we want the ministry to comply with the return to work formula signed on the 8th of May, which agreed that we will post intern doctors within 60 days. Now, there were at least 1,500 intern doctors awaiting posting. Some have been on standby for 2 years, 1 year, and 6 months now.
Jesus Christ.
Dr. Cheyenne Oyando, a medical officer in turn, observed that doctors and health workers at large remain one of the most disrespected professionals. She said most of the interns have been out of school for more than a year. So stuff is starting to wane and wax, is it not? Because the point is that everything that you've learned, you're supposed to take that and go straight into some kind of practice. A year, you're going to start to get rough around the edges. Oyando regretted that the court had further pushed the posting orders to a further 90 days when we had been told that we would get the verdict by early July. According to the 2017 CBA agreement, one is supposed to be posted for the mandatory internship program within 30 days of finishing medical school, which we need to complete in order to get our medical licenses. So they've said, you people are doing what with us? You're playing. So what shall we do? We'll come and visit you.
You know, I look at this in the broader conversation that is when the executive takes back to Parliament these pieces of legislation, when they go with a supplementary bill, which is then going to reorganize the budget for the government, it's important that all of us are very keen on what the proposals are. There are some things that should get properly funded, and there are some things that we should propose to be defunded. So, for example, health should not get affected. Because look at that. Somebody, it's 2 years, right? Somebody scored an A in high school 9 years ago. 9. Okay? They joined university 8 years ago. They stayed in university for 6 years. They graduated 2 years ago with a bachelor in medicine and surgery. They cannot practice officially. They cannot practice as doctors because they must go through 1 year internship. It's been 2 years. They have not been posted for internship. We are talking about 9 years
since
after
they
finishing high school.
And they're still
2 years after graduating from a 6-year university course. And you're still waiting. So you're saying that it'll be an extra 1 year before they can now properly be licensed as doctors.
This is my problem. That what are they going to say now? That there's no money in order to do so? That you post them and then you're not able to pay them? Or what are you going to say is the problem? This is my issue. Basic, mundane, sign a letter things cannot be done just because you want to display incompetence? Or what is it?
Because there's no money.
Or you want to say that there's no money, then therefore that's why we can't do this. I'm sorry, but this money reason has been given so many times, and it really isn't. It's not the issue.
It's because there is no money. That's the reality. Indeed.
It wasn't in the budget. Remember, it's supposed to be in this budget that has been scrapped.
I think it is in this budget, but now all the ministries are being told, hold on. So everybody's thinking, okay, so now if
But
we
then
hold on,
how
what does that
then do
mean?
you explain things that were in the budget and yet were not done?
Even the ones that were in the budget, they didn't do.
Because
This is
that
why I'm
like
talking
education.
about that thing, like
Yes.
education. The one that was in the budget 2022-2023, the one that was in the budget 2023-2024, because we are now in the new year 2024-2025.
Yep.
Even those ones that were done were not done, and the money was not used.
Yep.
The money did not go where it was budgeted for. That's what we're talking about. And for me, it is incompetent. It is.
That's why I say our focus should clearly be on the supplementary bill. And in fact, the public should start having a conversation of what must you not touch, right? So you're seeing here there's move to defund some entities that were not legal anyway, like office of the prime cabinet secretary, of the spouse of those ones. Okay, they're not legal anyway, but if you remove those ones, where else do you cut budgets?
There are many places.
This is where you start saying, can you remove that CDF thing and take our doctors to internship? Can you remove that CDF thing and actually make sure that our grade 7s have teachers? So conversations to have now. It's about time. It's a good thing it's happening.
Look at KNEC now.
They're boiling nicely.
KNEC said, I'm going to call it KNEC. That's your
Okay.
problem. KNEC said that their budget has been slashed, not reduced, not halved, not divided, slashed. They don't have a budget now. Do you see where they're going for? Can I continue with that story? Or
Continue
just
with the
like
story.
that?
Please go ahead.
Okay, it's on page 9. Their budget has been slashed to 0. And I really wonder what
It
for
can't be to 0.
wait now. Exactly. Your chagrin
That is not slashing.
is as good as mine. That's not, it's decimating.
Yeah.
That's expunging.
Okay, now, crisis looms over budget cuts on exam and invigilation fees. The recently announced budget cuts are going to cause a crisis in the administration of national examination managed by the Kenya National Examination Council, education stakeholders say. The experts fear the administration of the exams, which was just about 3 months away, could face serious challenges and cause anxiety to hundreds of thousands of candidates due to sit their tests in October and November. So we're looking at the KPSEA as well as the KCSC.
And KC, yes.
KCP is over.
Yes, it's over.
The National Treasury has issued guidelines that require ministries, departments and agencies, judiciary, parliament, constitutional commissions and independent offices to review estimates of revenue expenditure for the year 2024-2025. In a circular dated June 5th, Treasury Cabinet Secretary Njuguna Ndung'u highlighted at least 24 areas that would be affected by budget cuts, which include 100% cut for examination and invigilation fees. Not 90, not 30, not 40, not 50, 100. Professor Ndung'u said the financial year budget was to be funded through additional revenue measures amounting to 344.3 billion shillings contained in the Finance Bill 2024, which President Ruto rejected last month. He said, and this is likely to be the excuse given now, moving forward, this created a financing gap of a similar amount and implies that funding of expenditure to the tune of this amount is not tenable. In line with Article 223 of the Constitution and Section 44 of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 412A, the financing gap will necessitate revision of the budget estimates. The changes will be regularized in the context of 2024-2025 supplementary estimates. Number 1. KNEC had been allocated 5 billion shillings as exam waiver fee in the rejected finance bill. The latest cuts have come as a shocker.
The finance bill does not allocate money. Okay, go on.
The latest cuts have come as a shocker to a majority of education stakeholders who say this will complicate the exam process further. Remember, they pay teachers who are invigilators, all sorts of things.
By the way,
all over the country.
I think as we're having these conversations, I know I'm just reading this story and thinking, the so-called stakeholders, who are they? Are they faceless? Who are they? Because who is it that gets the money that goes into this? The money, exams that are coming up in October and November does not include the payment of
invigilators
exam fee. The exam fee has already been paid, right? This is on the running of the exam itself.
Running of the exam, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Why is it so bloody expensive to run exams? Why?
Because what are we talking
Why
about?
do we have to say at you, you must have 4 police officers
Per class. They must be transported.
transport them, you pay who this, pay who the other, you go to abroad, you and print the paper,
Because
you
there's a,
bring
first
the
of all, when you
exams
look at
to
those
here.
things, there's a trust deficit. Because look at it, you want to think about all the exam centers, right? Yeah. Why can't you have a template that each center will then print, so you don't have to move this thing from place to place? There's a trust deficit because they'll say, city school, he'll print his own exam.
But let me ask the question. If we can print fiduciary issue, banknotes here in Kenya, which require...
And it's not stolen.
No, it's not stolen.
It's government tender.
Yes, it actually requires a very high level of security. We print it, all right? Now, we print checks here, okay? Now, you're telling me we cannot print examination papers here?
These things are all manufactured.
Yes.
Issues.
Yes.
And these so-called stakeholders who are speaking now, who are raising an alarm, we should sit them down and ask them, okay, we'll explain exactly why does it cost us billions of shillings to run an exam?
You know, I'm going to take it further. Why does it cost $1 billion of shillings to run an election? What makes you think we can't print those ballot papers here?
That's what I'm telling you.
Or even those things of saying that, you know what, we have to have security features, they must be accompanied, and then in the end you'll still be told there were irregularities in these exams. How?
And those papers, and they're all printed here. So, if the irregularities exist, despite they're being printed God knows where, why don't you just print them here then?
I'm telling you, this thing is a money-making machine for a lot of people.
It has been for a very long time.
Yes.
And these deductions are now bringing this thing to the fore. Because they're using the same explanations they've used in the past. And you're asking, it's not adding up, is it? No. Examinations, students pay for this, just so that we understand.
Yes, it's part of your...
And,
in that
we
last
think
year.
exams, we think of Kenya National Examination Council, the former standard 8 exams, isn't it? There are very many other exams that Kenya National Examination Council oversee. Many even professional exams. It's what they do. That's what they do. So you're telling me in all these years and all this time, they haven't found a formula of actually getting themselves to function.
Akuna. This has been created so that, we must have, we must do these things with our exams, because...
Students' futures are threatened. That's where we're going with this discussion.
We put in some 10 billion shillings so that, that exam can properly be done. And, transport, we have to transport them this way. They have to go and sit in a locker somewhere, and then headmaster must be taken there, and someone has opened the seal, and then you take them... In those places where we saw the stories in Kajiado, not in Kajiado, in Narok. Remember a couple of
yes, where there was one particular headmistress who was walking some very long distance.
Headmistress goes, walks, boards and Duthi, takes the exam to school.
Done.
And the students sit the exam. And there is no cheating in that school.
Yes.
And these are places we talk about, you must do what? Apana. These are the things. We are changing this country. Nick, you must tell us, why are we giving you all that money to run an exam?
Actually,
why?
It must be explained. Just like every other entity that requires money from the government to provide a service must explain. Yes. Now, this story about Biden warning about graft.
Biden.
Biden, President of America, Biden. This is what is being reported. It says corruption remains one of the most significant barriers to doing business in Kenya, with U.S. firms reporting that they find it difficult to compete with companies willing to ignore legal standards or engage in bribery and other forms of corruption. Okay? It noted that on the Transparency International 2023 Corruption Perception, note, Operative Word Perception Index, Kenya ranked, there are around 180 countries in this index. We ranked 100 number 26. We are not doing too badly. We're not number last.
126 is among the most corrupt, or is 126 least corrupt?
As you keep going up, 180 is corrupt, kabisa, finished, done.
180 is the most corrupt.
You're finished.
And we are at 126?
I'm telling you, we're okay. We just... What?
Out of how many?
180.
Oh,
there's some 58 countries that are...
Guys, what are they doing?
So has Biden talked to all those others?
He's on the list.
Okay, while Kenya has an independent judiciary and guarantees political pluralism, the continued prevalence of corruption is hindering the country's ability to fully capitalize on its economic potential and attract the kind of high-quality U.S. investment that could drive sustainable development. hizi ndio vitu zinasemekana kwamba hii number 26 you can't move to the next class.
Sorry, excuse me.
Yes.
Was it part of other things that he normally does? Abi, did he just wake up one day and say, look,
what
triggered this thing?
This one? I think his companies went and complained and told him, Bana, we're trying to do
can't
business.
operate, we can't, Kenya is corrupt.
These guys are not asking the usual 10%. They're asking for too much. Yes. And it's making life difficult. And then there are these Chinese who have come.
And they're getting everything they're asking.
Yes.
So Biden said, don't worry, let me talk to them.
This thing is corruption. Yes. I mean, can they keep to standards? It's 10%, we know. Okay? Or it's 6%, we know. These guys want 50. Kenyans mnasikia? Punguza bwana. Haiwezi kuwa hiyo high.
Punguza bei ya nini?
Kula kitu kidogo tu bwana.
Yes, please tafadhali. Na ukitaka kula ng'ombe, kule ile mzee, please. Si ile bado inazaza. Yes. Leta shida.
That makes a lot of sense. There have been calls for the president to sign the IEBC bill into law. Okay? So what is the genesis here? IEBC reconstitution, panel is set in place, people sufuria in head town, say no IEBC. Okay, president says let's form NADCO seats, Kalonzo, Ishongwa, they come up and say, okay, so this is how we can do reconstitution of the IEBC. A bill is taken to the National Assembly, it's taken to the Senate, they agree, the bill is ready, it's been taken to the president, people are saying, sign that thing. President William Ruto is frustrating Kenyans' right to recall underperforming members of parliament, according to some politicians. The politicians say that the delay by the president to assent to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Amendment Bill is meant to protect the MPs who voted yes to the Finance Bill 2024. This allegation is coming from none other than Vihiga Senator Godfrey Osotsi, who says the leaders are demanding that the IEBC bill be signed into law to make it easy for citizens, the primary employers, to recall their parliamentarians. Speaking at Esambai in his Hamisi constituency on Saturday, Senator Osotsi said President Ruto's continued delay to assent to the bill is a clear indicator that he wants to protect the MPs against the wishes of the majority of Kenyans. The president should move with speed and assent to the IEBC bill that's on his desk to enable the people to start the recall of these lawmakers for failing to listen to the voices of the voters who took them to the National Assembly. That is what Osotsi is saying, because he does not think that he can be recalled. So he thinks, now the others are the ones who are going to be recalled. What's the truth? When did the Senate pass this thing? When was it taken to the president, to the president's desk? How long has it taken? However, what is the content of this bill? I have raised issues with this. I have an issue. The content of this bill is that they reached a political agreement to expand the number of political players who sit on the selection panel of the IEBC. Are we together so far?
So.
Okay. So this is it. We expand the panel of the people who are going to interview the next commissioners of IEBC from 7 members to 9 members. Out of those 9, 5 are going to be political players who are nominated by the Parliamentary Service Commission. That's who? Politicians. There's a political parties forum. That's who? Politicians. And so on and so forth. So a majority of the people will basically be sitting there, across the political divide, and they're the ones who will determine who our next commissioners of the IEBC are. We have seen this game before. I mean, this is how always it happens. It's always a majority of politicians. And they appear at that moment to say, we like these people that we have appointed to the IEBC.
Until we have an election.
Until the election comes. And then you start hearing, but this person was Nani's person. But this person was appointed by so-and-so, so he was playing to this other, or she was playing to this other side.
And that this person who supposedly nominated this person will also be speaking against this person whom they nominated. Actually, if there is one place where protest should be focused on, is this one.
This particular one.
Because this thing has to change. You can't have politicians deciding these things for us. It's a complete mess.
For us to start thinking about 2027, let's just say that the next election constitutionally is 2027, the next general election, right? For people to have trust in that election, they must have trust in the IEBC. And trust in the IEBC is not a voter problem. It's a politician problem.
Yes.
Voters turn up, they are told by IEBC, go to X primary school, queue against class 6B. That is where your name will be. Cast your ballot. Here is the paper. Mark, put it in here. People do it. And they have no issue. Until the politicians come and start bringing their manyam.
It is actually that if we are rejecting the manner in which politicians conduct our business in Parliament, and they want to extend that same influence into something as critical as the IEBC, now this must be spoken against and it must be rejected, because we are going to end up in the same problems we've ended up in every electoral cycle. Let some independent body choose these people, then we know the politicians are not involved, and let the politicians not be involved in choosing this independent body.
Yep.
No. Surely we must have mechanisms of determining how to appoint these people.
Yep. If I was actually to advise, I would say the Gen Z's focus on this one.
Yeah.
Tell Ruto, do not sign the IEBC amendment bill. Let it go back. Let's relook at what it's saying. How can politicians be the ones who elect members, who put members into the IEBC commission? We have seen them doing it before.
It's causes that simple. They are the ones who bring about this problem, and then they now want to shout loudly about the problems which they have created.
If there's a place where politicians should be very, 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 very far away from, it's the IEBC.
Yes.
100%. How do you then go and referee something of which you are playing in the match?
No, you choose the referee and you're playing in that particular match.
Yeah.
And then you choose the
I
linesman.
want this guy. Are you kidding?
Yes.
And then you can even say, no, that's not a goal.
Not only that, we normally have 2 linesmen, or they're called assistant referees. These guys want 3 linesmen now.
Yeah. And then they want to play, you want to say these are the rules that we're going to play. You can say, decide today, I can use my hands to throw the ball into the net.
Yeah.
Come on.
The next thing they're going to do, they're going to tell you that there should be 2 goalkeepers. In fact, this game of football, you guys are playing it wrongly. Now, again,
unajua sisi ndio tumekuweka hapo referee.
Na ujue hivyo.
Na ujue ukichezesha hii game vibaya tunakutoa.
Na usituambie ni Olympics. Hii ni Kenya. Unasikia baba? And this is football, not even soccer.
Yes. Yeah, we can't have this. At a game of Gor and AFC, Gor chooses 2 linesmen, AFC chooses 1 linesman, and then hapana. Hapana. What? No way. Anyway, it's coming up to the top of the hour. We'll be joined by Abdullahi Alas in the next hour. We'll be talking about, what we've seen in the politics and what his thoughts are going forward. Kenya's biggest conversation, the Situation Room. It's good to be back. Good morning. It's 7 a.m.
Spice up your life.
Good morning, this is the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga. Religious leaders are now pushing for reforms in the government, with the main one being the reshuffling of the cabinet. NCCK leaders have further urged President William Ruto to fire Inspector General of Police Japheth Koome and appoint another officer to the post due to how he handled the 2024 finance bill protests, which led to the death of 40 people.
First one is to dissolve the cabinet. The president has himself said that his cabinet is incompetent. Kenyans are saying he has an incompetent cabinet. And in addition, the IG of police, we have not heard him speak and we have not seen him. Yet we have come here to mourn over 40 people who have been killed by his officers. We ask him to resign, or in the alternative, we ask the president to discharge him from his duties.
Speaking during a memorial service for the over 40 who died during the anti-government protests at the All Saints Cathedral, the leaders also admitted their shortcomings in holding the government accountable and telling the truth, further promising to change their ways.
We are implementing that code of conduct that was given to us and supported by Hesabika to implement it, and we are seeking to implement it in every church, and it includes issues of financial probity, issues of moral conduct, issues of handling politics within the premises of the church.
Azimio leader Raila Odinga has continued his AUC campaign by attending a conference of ministers of the East African community in Zanzibar. Addressing the session, Raila reiterated the great opportunity that Africa has to strengthen itself economically, to use its resources and enrich its inhabitants of this continent. Raila has continued to push for the expansion of transport methods through air, road and sea to open up the borders that have prevented Africans from interacting as they should.
I'll give you an example. Recently I was going to the funeral of the President of Namibia. From Nairobi, to get permit to fly over Tanzanian airspace, DRC, Zambia, Botswana and Namibia. I spent 3 hours waiting to get clearance to be able to fly. The other time I was in Dar es Salaam, wanting to go to Niamey in Niger. I spent 10 hours in my hotel waiting because I have to get an overflight permission over Uganda, DRC, Central African Republic, Cameroon, Nigeria, and Niger itself.
Foreign Affairs CS Musalia Mudavadi, who was also present at the meeting, used the opportunity to promote Raila and urged African ministers to develop diplomatic strategies to enable him win the AUC chairmanship post.
I can only appeal that please give his candidature favorable consideration based on the issues he has been able to highlight. I also want to say that we will also convey appreciation to President Ruto because he has talked to some of you and also to some of your heads of state. But there's a new feather in the cap which I can convey, that you have also been grateful to listen to the Honorable Raila.
Health officials have found traces of poliovirus in a sewage sample collected from Nairobi. The sample was collected on May 15th this year and it tested positive for the circulating vaccine-derived poliovirus type 2 at the Kenya Medical Research Institute laboratories. No associated cases of paralysis have been detected, according to the report Kenya filed to the Global Polio Eradication Initiative. The risk to the general public in Nairobi is considered to be quite low. In the last 12 months, Kenya has vaccinated millions of children in rapid campaigns using the oral polio vaccine, which contains a live bat weekend virus. That's the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
All right, looks like it's going to be a busy Monday morning. We've got traffic. It's coming in heavy on the Thika Superhighway through towards the junction at Allsops and then out towards the underpass. So that's already taken up. It looks like it'll be that way for some time. There's traffic on Jogo Road heading out towards Landis. That is very, very busy. On Kangunda Road, traffic is busy. Touching on Outer Ring, the Eastern Bypass is starting to pile up as you then get towards the Embakasi Loop. That looks like it's going to be busy for some time. Traffic coming on Mombasa Road is not too bad. See just a smidgen of it coming off of Ngong Road as well this morning. Langata Road is busy as you get then towards... Hey, there's a Maimahi Road. Yeah, there is. Okay, so there's traffic there going towards Nairobi West. Some traffic there as well. So it's all starting to come together. Let's see what happens as we get into traffic hour proper. We'll talk SpiceFM, KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Very good morning to you on this 8th day of July 2024. It's 7 minutes after 7. Welcome to the second hour of Kenya's biggest conversation. This is the Situation Room, setting the agenda for the country and looking at what's happening around the country. We continue. Standard Bank says if you switch, you win. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Just make the switch.
All you need to do is open an account with Stanbic today. One thing that you can do, and you can actually do it from the comfort of wherever it is that you are, get onto the digital platform, log in, create an account, take a picture of yourself, imagine that, and actually start to deal. Then guess what? You put 50,000 shillings into your account and you have a chance to win. Every week there are winners. 500,000 shillings, 200,000 shillings, 100,000 shillings. And then we're looking at a grand draw that takes place in September of 1 million shillings and then 500,000. Sorry, I gave the wrong numbers in the beginning. It was 200,000, 100,000 and 50,000. Okay? The grand draw takes us to 1 million shillings, 500,000 shillings, and then 200,000 shillings. And you can win just because you opened an account and that you got things cooking in terms of your finances. Look, we're looking at 9.5% in terms of mortgage fixed for the term and the duration of your loan.
Yes.
Fantastic things happening with Stanbic. If you do what? If you make the switch.
Very, very good. It's as simple as that. The Euro 2024 is still ongoing in Germany. We're now on to the semi-finals. Which are the teams in the semi-finals?
In the semi-finals, we're looking at England, France, the Netherlands, and Spain. And those matches start on Tuesday, the 9th, which is tomorrow. Semi-finals, it's going to be hot, my friend. Who is going to make it into the final?
Spain versus France.
Spain versus France. England versus the Netherlands. And the way they got into the finals was actually quite beautiful. I watched the match between the Netherlands and Turkey, where we saw that Turkey was going to win. And then the Netherlands came and did the thing. The boys in orange were playing very well that night. You want to watch these matches live? All you've got to do is log on to Showmax. Register, pay, and watch live matches, fan content, match analysis, all sorts of great stuff. And you can watch it all from the comfort of your mobile phone.
Something I didn't like about the quarterfinals. Goalless, 1-1, going all the way to the penalties. I mean, can we go to the penalties? Yes, but at 3-3. Let it be not a back and forth. Not at goalless all the way.
Money's worth, my brother. Money's worth. It's like watching a boxing match and somebody's knocked out in the first 4 seconds. I mean, you paid all that money to watch somebody be knocked out in the first 4 seconds.
I don't want that. I want goals. It
seems
mainly goals draw. Go all the way to the penalties.
Is it then not a season?
0-0-0-0, buana.
Eric, it looks like it's a season for single-digit wins. If you look at the rugby World Cup, the same.
Same.
Cliffhanger, one. Then same. You go again, cliffhanger, until you say, "Aish."
It's becoming too technical and boring for spectators.
Yes.
Too technical.
Of these teams that are remaining, which of these teams have many Africans?
France.
Okay, fine.
See, France is Africa United.
Okay, so
this is what we're looking for.
So, to watch tomorrow's semi-finals,
all you need to do is log on to showmax.com or download the app on your Google Play Store or Apple App Store. Pay 500 shillings. You can watch the live matches on your mobile phone, as well as other great entertainment. It's the upgraded streaming platform for Africa, Shika Showmax.
Our next guest is in the studio. Abdullahi Alas is Executive Director of Elite Crew Consulting Limited. He's a man who commentates a lot on what's happening in the country. Abdullahi, good morning.
Good morning, Eric.
How are you doing?
I am very fine. How are you?
Very, very well. Karibu sana to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Thank you very much. It's good to be back when a lot is happening.
Yeah, there's a lot that's happening. To welcome you to the conversation, CT will give you the day's proverb.
Yes, our proverbs for this week come from the island nation or the Republic of Sao Tome and Principe. Okay?
Yes.
Very close to the equator. It's a Central African country. Lovely beaches and all that.
Yeah? Central Africa, and it's an island.
Yes, it is. It's considered a Central African country. It's considered because yes, kuna Atlantic hatukatai, but it's considered a Central African Republic. Considered. Yes, if you look at the map, okay.
So where is it? Is it on this side of ours or on the other side of Kinandu?
Kidogo up the corner there.
Kinandu.
Yes. No, Kinandu wako mbali kidogo. Ni hapa chini kidogo tu. Hapa kidogo tu hapo kwa corner.
Kidogo kama maili ngapi?
Si hapa tu.
Unaona map? Kwa hiyo hapo.
Okay.
Huyo ni Mkenya anapatiana direction.
Okay, look at my hand. Ukienda tu hivi pale kwa corner kipiga namna hii.
Inasema aje hapo. Imesema aje?
Do not blame God for creating the tiger. But thank him for not giving it wings.
Do not blame God for creating the tiger, but thank him for not giving it wings.
Wow, that one is dope. Deep. The tiger. What do you associate with the tiger? The tiger belongs to the family of the lions, the cats. These get tough guys. So now imagine a tiger having wings. It will have destroyed both what is on the ground and what is in the sky, because it's sharp, fast, very fierce. So I think Ndu, could you please help me? I'm blank this morning.
You are on your own.
You're leaving me on my own.
You're on your own.
Opinion.
So we said, do not blame God for creating
the tiger,
but be thankful
that he didn't give it wings.
Yep. Okay. It's like saying, you do not blame God of what you are not given, but you should appreciate what you have. It's like saying Abdullah Yala's lamenting why he's a camel ladder, but not appreciating why he was invited to SpiceFM.
Oh my God.
Not appreciating that he has camels.
Yes.
Long way. You know, for you to make it to Spice, do you know how many thorns and legs and mountains you have to climb to come here? So I think we should enjoy what we have as we look for what we don't.
That's true. Yeah. A lot's happened in the country recently.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What's your basic reading of where the country is?
Before I start anything, first I want to mourn. And I want to send my condolences to the people of Kenya. We have lost people. I told you, Eric, I'm a father. God blessed me with 8 boys and 2 girls.
Ndu has looked at you like,
yeah, I've lost 3 boys and 1 girl. And when I lost my daughter Zainab in 2020, I think, it was the most sickening feeling I had in my stomach. And because I loved her, she was my first daughter. The rest were boys. And I buried her with my counsel so that she goes to heaven with my clothes. So as a father who has today 5 boys and a girl and still counting, Ndu can look at me because we don't come from the same background, my dear. I'm a warrior. Giving birth is a thing. We don't smoke, we don't drink, we don't party. We have no bar in Mandera. We don't drink alcohol.
I didn't say anything about
No, I'm joking. We jamani anasema we jamani chokora.
Apart from watching football.
Yes. I don't even watch. I don't even watch football, Mr. I don't watch football. So I want to say
Kuna TV Mandera?
No, they are, but even in my house.
So what do you want to watch?
They do. When they watch, they do. Young men do. My own daughters and sons do. So what I'm saying is I got the privilege of going to school in Busia. I started my schooling in a Jami Primary School in Busia, which was a border. My dad was a businessman. And growing up with the Luya community affected even our habit of eating. Unajua Muluya ukimletea mchele na chapati anaongojea chakula. So in my house you bring me rice, I don't even look at it. I prefer ugali, githeri, modokoi, fish. That's the kind of life the Luya community introduced to me. And it helped me because my society's habit of eating is costing them lives. And for us now who are there, We are enjoying life. Sisi tunakamata sturungi na githeri asubuhi. Woria hiyo ni matusi. Woria lazima akamata anjera, nyama, maini, hizi vitu. So I am sending my honest condolences to the people who lost their loved ones, but they were not the first. It started with Pimto in 1965. It started with Tomboy in 1969. The same year Rachel Ruto was born, 1969. J.M. Kariuki was killed in 1975. So this was a struggle that started a very long time. Coming to what has transpired from June 25th about the generational Zoomers or Jay-Z, they built and worked on a platform that was built and a struggle that was there from 1963. I want to go back to our topic today. We talk about federalism or what do you call Majimbosm. There is an article written by one of the professors, Dr. Mutuma Rutete. He's the dean, maybe that time he was the dean of Kenya Human Rights Institute in 2007. And it was again rewritten in 2020. If you look at federalism, it was there even in the 40s and the 50s. But now, when we got independence and we went to Lancaster in 62, majority of the people who are advocating for this are people considered to be the minority communities. Why? There was the dominance of the central Kenya and Rift Valley in the government. And you and I spoke about here how Kenyatta appointed 6 people from Kiambu in 1967 cabinet. So this was a struggle that started very long time. And then came 1992 repealing Section 2A, 97 agitation for multi-party democracy. This is now when people like me were introduced to Gitobo Imanyara, Paul Mwangi, Paul Mute, our first lady, tough lady, Mother Karua, Mutai. All these guys now are introduced to us. You see, and now in 2010, even though at the IPPG thing, it was the government hijacking, which I'm going to warn against the Jay-Zs. We got the Constitution of Kenya. Now, the Jay-Zs are building on this Constitution because they have the freedom to talk. They have the freedom to imagine. I listened to Macharia Gaida when he was here. And he said in 1982, even entertaining the thought of criticizing Moi, not protesting, even in your dreams, you entertain the thoughts of criticizing Moi or Kanu government, you'll be snatched and then you disappear. They torture you. You see, so we came from far. Pinto was 37 when he died. So you see, today we have an opportunity to turn a new page in our country. That page is not the page we are expecting from the current cabinet, from the current parliament, and from the current executive.
Do we know the page?
You see, before you entertain the idea of going to the showers, you have to know what you want to do. Now, these guys have said, we don't want the bill. This finance bill is bad for us. Hata chumvi one. Hata chumvi you want to tax. We borrow from the neighbors, you want to tax. So, the idea of refusing the bill is the first step. Now, Jay-Z needs to be guided. The country needs to be guided. There is the difference between agitating for change and destroying a nation. In 1992, I was a very young boy in Ramu when the late Siad Barre government was toppled in Somalia. Professors, businessmen, like the current Kenyan cream, were refugees. They were running around like headless chicken, confused, worried, don't know the future. They have left their country. And we hosted them in Nairobi, Dadaab. They become refugees. I've worked in Somalia for 10 years. I do not want to destroy this nation.
Why are you saying that? How do you draw the line or the correlation between what's happened and the risk of destroying the country?
What happened, we were even, there were three forces within what was happening. They were young, vibrant, educated Kenyans who were born in 96. These are people who are 28. Me, I've already passed 40. So I've been around for some time. And deep, again, I went back to books. I told you I don't drink, I don't smoke, I make babies, I read books. Now, what I've seen is this. Sudan was one of the most beautiful countries.
Mm-hmm.
It was the country that was giving us Muslims hope because they were giving us scholarship, especially those of us from northern Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
Libya was one time a desert. Muammar Gaddafi came to power, he turned things around. It was the country where everything was virtually free and it had no debt. But he destroyed it because what tyrants do, if you look at how tyrants behave, they build the country and then they refuse to leave. And because people are tired, the country is destroyed. Now, what Jay-Z needs to do is, today they are going to Ministry of Health. Go there, sit outside, air your views, don't beat people, don't destroy property, don't allow goons to penetrate you. There are people in this country who are interested in toppling the government. They were not happy before election, they are not happy today. These are people who grew up in power. They know themselves. We don't need to mention names. But now, you and I discussed here how I wrote 2 articles. Religious role in a secular state on the Star. I also wrote, Gachagua should stop talking and start working. The same have come to pass. Using the Bible to brainwash people. Hitler was using the same thing. So what we need to do now is, I was happy the military came.
Why?
I was happy the country is still today a country. Why am I happy? We will talk of the legalities of things in having a country rather than destroying a country when the military are in the camp. I told you, I have a lot of friends in government. There are people from the police, from the military, from the executive, previous politicians. Allegation is made they wanted to overthrow the government. If you talk to people in the intelligence, which I do have, not necessarily from northern Kenya, but people I went to school with, the executive, the president and his team have issues. The president himself has issues. The cabinet have issues. These are guys who are worth, I told you, 15 point something billion when you look at the asset. Yet they have not given us Facebook or Twitter. They have not produced penicillin. They have written a book and they are very rich. We will discuss that later. Now, the country is peaceful today. We have a country, a very beautiful country, but with unfortunate politicians. Very beautiful country with very beautiful people with unfortunate politicians. They are greedy. I saw the salary of Peter Selassie because he put it on Facebook. 1,162,162. I did some maths. Peter Selassie alone salary can employ 78 junior secondary teachers. 78 because you don't need to be. I was not good in maths, but I wasn't that poor. 1,162,162 divided by 15,000 is 77.6 plus because I did the maths. So 78 teachers, when you round off, 78 teachers who will have taught junior secondary. Junior secondary, my daughter is now PP1. Her teacher is called Madam Irene. I was asking, why should we pay her 15,000? Why don't we pay her 50? What is it that a member of parliament does in that parliament that is going to add value in Kenya?
Mm-hmm. I want to take a step back into some of the things that you've said so far, and I want to delve into this one. You're saying that the Gen Z should be careful with the demonstrations because there are allegations of other parties,
intruders and infiltrators, or other parties.
Yeah, but this is all talk that we've heard so far, Abdullahi.
Yes.
The Gen Zs that we saw yesterday at Uhuru Park, the Gen Zs that we've seen in other parts of the country in the peaceful demos have largely been peaceful.
What about the Gen Zs who were breaking into people's houses? Were they Gen Zs or demonstrations were happening?
Okay.
Who are the ones who are destroying Parliament? Why do you destroy Parliament? Parliament belongs to us. You demonstrate, you go there. The food is ours, by the way. I was happy they ate the food. I was happy they were wearing the uniform. That's all ours.
You're just unhappy that they entered?
No, I'm unhappy that they broke. Some of them started destroying some properties. I want them to protest.
So who bears responsibility here? Is it the Gen Z who is out to protest? Or is it the government that is out that should be protecting lives and property?
I told you before, and I'm saying
I am hearing like you're placing the responsibility of ensuring that there are no infiltrators
they are
on the demonstrators.
They are different. There are different people who should bear different responsibilities. The demonstrators, at any point, should not be violent.
How do they stop anybody who wants to come in and bring an element of violence? Then
that's why they need now
they
need to make compartments of people within them. If there are, let's say, 700 people or 500 people contesting, you see, this is a country that has a rule of law. We passed a constitution. There are police. There are checks and balances. The moment a person throws stones at me and hits me, he ceases to be a protester. He becomes a criminal because you are violating my rights.
That's true.
Yes. So the penal code kicks in.
That's true.
This is a country that has laws. So the police have failed to protect the protesters. The president has failed to protect lives. Because Article 1 talks about people practicing their sovereignty directly or indirectly through their democratically elected representatives.
Mm-hmm.
Number one is His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Ruto. He bears the responsibility. In countries where they are civilized, I happen to live. You've seen the Prime Minister of Holland leaving his office with a bicycle. Because living, the white man's way of living is to make sure there is peace and harmony and life, everyone is equal, there's social this. Here, people think being rich is accumulating artificial wealth. You must have big cars. Like a friend of mine just bought a car with 10 million. And I happened to drive in it. And then we're having a discussion. A very close friend. A guy who bought me a suit of 25,000. I asked him, why are you buying a car at 10 million when you can do an orphanage in your village? You see, so our perspective of life is...
What was his answer?
He said he wants to enjoy life. Another one has just bought a new house. Another one, you see, you're buying things at, 40 million, 30 million, 20 million. Yet you're not an inventor. You're not an industrialist. You're just doing business with the government. You're corrupting officials. You're getting a contract of 100 million, 70 million, 1 billion, like that. So you think that is what's going to give you... The moment you realize that artificial wealth gives you comfort, you cease to be a decent human being and a person who has deficiencies. Who like the president I was saying when he was dressing in those regalias from the days he was campaigning. I asked myself, Ruto was 30 years when he was elected.
He was.
Did he ever travel in the country before he was elected? Did he wear suits before he was elected?
He did.
He did. So he doesn't need to show us all. So I think there is inadequacy in some human beings that for you to live in a good house, you must sleep in a house that is worth 40 billion, 20 billion, 10 million.
The question though...
I want us to take a break. Sorry, City. Let's just take this break. It's 29 minutes to 8. This is Kenya's Biggest Conversation. We're hosting Abdullahi Alas. He is a consultant and he commented on matters of governance in this country. Ndu, please tell Abdullahi, about the Aga Khan University Hospital Center in Roysambu.
So the Aga Khan University Hospital believes that, you shouldn't have to travel very far from where you work and you live to be able to access medical care, right? I mean, it makes sense. And so what they've done in the most recent past is that there is the establishment of the Roysambu Specialty Care Center. It's right at the Roysambu roundabout at the Jewel Plaza. And then all the specialty care that you could possibly be looking for is available there. We're talking about day surgeries, and some other minor surgeries. We're talking about endoscopy, chemotherapy, dialysis, all of these delivered by a team of experts in the areas of oncology, gastroenterologists, and your surgeons as well. And it's right there in Roysambu, not too far from where you are if you're on that end of the city, all under the belief that universal care should be accessible here and now.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start.
Baba boy, gas imeisha, shopping imeisha, na ujue tokens bado zinalia.
Msupa, nipe mbao na 20 minutes.
Mbao, like 20 bob. 20 minutes, kwani kuna nini? Na ujue mimi nataka kupika haki.
Jaber, kwani ujui dakika mamilini every 20 minutes, halafu wanapea na 10 million every 20 minutes, na hadi kuna 3 millionaires every hour.
Daka mamili virahisi. Uko na nafasi 3 ya kuwa millionaire kila hour. Usipitwe. Cheza daka. Ushike mita yako sasa. Chagua nambari zako 4 za bahati and win up to 10 million every 20 minutes. Nenda kwenye paybill 440440. Account Spice amount. Cheza na shilingi 20 hadi shilingi 2,000 na ushinde mamilioni. Daka mita. Kuwa bingwa.
The weather with SpiceFM.
All right, partly sunny conditions in Nairobi this morning. We'll see highs of 23 and lows of 14. Cloudy at 14 in Nakuru, and looking at sunny conditions at 14 in Nyeri. It's 13 and cloudy in Eldoret. I'm looking into a sunny Mombasa at 23, highs of 29 and highs of 29. In a mostly sunny Malindi, it's 20 and cloudy in Kisumu with highs of 26, and we'll see highs of 25 and a cloudy Kakamega at 17. It's partly sunny at 20 in Kampala with highs of 27, and at 21 Dar es Salaam is sunny going to highs of 31. Johannesburg this morning is at 3 degrees. The low will be -3 with highs of 9, and it's 26 and sunny in Mogadishu with highs of 30, 14 cloudy in Addis Ababa with highs of 22 and lows of 13. Lagos is cloudy at 25 with highs of 29, and Kinshasa clear at 20. We'll see highs of 30.
Spice up your life.
So there's massive traffic on the Thika Superhighway coming into the CBD, and it's going to go all the way through towards Murang'a Road. And then as you get towards the Globe Cinema roundabout, traffic is doing a thing there. Kiambu Road, very busy as well. Juja Road traffic also starting to seep into the city, and it's coming in all the way from Komarok Road out, passing over Outer Ring. So that's happening there. Kangunda Road also spilling over traffic, as does Manyanja Road today through towards Jago Road. So everybody trying to make their way into the city this morning. Outer Ring is busy coming in from North Airport Road and then slipping over towards Cabanas. So that all looks very, very busy. We are into traffic hour proper now. Monday morning probably will be very busy. Let's keep an eye on things. Help us out as well. Let us know what's moving and what's not. SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
Sugar and spice and everything nice. Everything nice.
Spice up your life. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 95 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
24 minutes to 8. Our conversations continue. Abdullahi Alas is our guest this morning. He is the Executive Director of Elite Crew Consulting. He is here. Let me tell you about Jubilee Care and Health, premium international coverage for those who need premium international health coverage. Jubilee Health Insurance offers the care and health plan in partnership with the Ednah Group and is underwritten by Allianz. This plan provides coverage limits of up to $4.5 million and access to global healthcare in over 183 countries. It's perfect for those who travel frequently or those who require global medical support, and it's incredibly comprehensive, covering pre-existing conditions up to the full cover limit. You also have flexible payment options and 24/7 emergency evacuation, assistance, repatriation services. Those who are seeking top-tier global coverage, Care and Health is the way to go. Care and Health by Jubilee Health Insurance. What do you need to do? Go to the website jubileeinsurance.com, or you can SMS the word health to 40643, or you can call them on 0709 949 000. That's 0709 949 000. Go global with Jubilee Health.
So things, we've heard many things over the last couple of weeks. When we look at the whole, I'm going to call it revolution because that's what it is, the whole Gen Z revolution, and what we've been seeing, whereby you have historical landmark decisions, never been done before in this country. And then it doesn't stop there, but that there's constant pressure on government, on the president, to do certain things in a certain way, and that he's been kept engaged thoroughly to say, no, it's not going to be business as usual. You cannot continue to run this country in the way in which you have been before. Are we actually looking at a space whereby things could actually change? And I hear you giving insight to certain things. You say, well, it is not possible for you to be so wealthy when you've not developed a thing. And so we're hearing the calling out of several members of parliament, on cabinet secretaries. Many things are happening at the same time. The question would be, where is this all going? Where should all of this go?
This country has struggled to have the 2010 constitution, which I have here. We have spoken, we came to Bomas, we collected views. Kenyans have decided to have how this country is going to be governed. Now, if you look at the constitution, which has a lot of other things that most Kenyans do not know, is Article 1 gives us the sovereign power because we are the taxpayers. We donated power. What we need to do is implement this document. You see, this document is going to be implemented, and then we have all other acts that are going to operate. We don't need a lot of president provados. We don't need members of parliament brighten. We don't need those things. That's why we have a document. So we have the final. If you look at the document, the parliament is number 1 in the constitution, followed by the executive, followed by the judiciary.
Explain what you mean by parliament is number 1, please.
As in, as the representative of the people.
And the people are sovereign.
Now that the people are sovereign under Article 1,
yes,
and they elected them directly, they are coming to represent people before the president. Directly. And then followed by the executive, and then we have the judiciary. Now, parliament of previous people, of J.M. Kariuki, of Matiba, and this parliament are different. There's a guy, an economist, my friend, I was telling him you should contest in your village back in Lefe. He's called Muhammad Abdullah Abdi. I told him the ones we have in northern, we have MPs in other Kenya, but we normally joke around on social media that in northern Kenya, majority are sub-clan representatives. Why? Because the way they are anointed is more of an anointment than an election. Election means people come sell ideas and then they're elected. Now, this country has come from far. I want to tell Jay this, you should appreciate that you built on what people have built. One of them is the constitution that gives you the Bill of Rights. The constitution that protects you from the bullet. The constitution that gives you access to lawyers in the jail. The constitution that gives you shouting in the back of on top of a car and even in the cell. Na police munawambia mutadu. That freedom came with a price. What you need now to do is get structured. Like this morning, I slept, because of the show, I slept around 9:30, 10. So I woke up at 10, at 2 a.m. to drink some water and do some things. Then I went to social media. I saw there was an aftermath of Sabasaba. There were guys who were online. So I tuned in. 2 a.m. I left the room, sat somewhere private, and then tuned in and listened. When I listened, I saw the young men and women are very, very enthusiastic about what should be done and how it should be done. But they don't know what should be done.
Why do you say they don't know, and yet you say they are talking about what should be done?
No, what should be done means now when you say the bill, finance bill down, it's down.
It's down.
Parliament is out, is out. But this is a country of laws. So we need to do everything we're doing with it.
So essentially you're asking what happens next.
Yes. This is what I did. I said, let's focus. Agenda 1, scrap CDF. Agenda 1. And I'm basing my arguments on, I've read the judgment from the High Court, I've read the judgment from the Court of Appeal, I have read the judgment from the Supreme Court. Now it's the President to ask the Attorney General to go to the Supreme Court and ask how this thing is going to be scrapped. But it's unconstitutional already. There are 3 judgments. Court of Appeal is one of the most competent courts we have in this country. Yes. So that one is done. Number 2, I want to tell them, petition the President to dissolve Parliament. What do we do? Tomorrow I'm told the youth are going to Boma. I want to attend. When you petition the President, he will form a tribunal. If I was in the presidential team, I would have appointed someone like either Maraga, Philomena Mwilu, Gitobu Imanyara to lead this tribunal. Guys who fought for this thing. Guys who were tortured.
They fought for what?
Yes?
They fought
for independence, for constitutional change, who wrote about it, who are advocating for it. Then when the President forms the tribunal, we have the right to petition the President. He has the powers to form the tribunal. The tribunal will come with recommendation. Parliament will go. Number 3, what do? We dissolve the cabinet because we donated power to President William Ruto. He appointed people. So they have 2 options. They either resign or he fires them. Once that happens, we are at a very good space now.
Now, when all that happens, then what do we do next?
What do we do next is this. We forget about the presidency for now. You need to take one step at a time.
Yes.
We don't want chaos. We don't want, mayhem and lawlessness. Ruto will deal with him later. Wacha kwanza yeye akae. Parliament ikienda, CDF ikienda, executive ikienda, we have resolved our problem 60-70%. Why? We are going to elect people we want.
But we haven't constituted the IEBC.
You see, now that one is just telling the President, please. The President has the powers to constitute. Please constitute. But before we do this...
He doesn't have powers to constitute.
No, I'm saying when...
He can sign the bill.
When he signs the bill, isn't it?
Yes.
So they are recruited, and then they are taken to Parliament, they are vetted, and then they are... But who selects...
You see that process... MPs out, that one I get. What we're saying is...
I don't get the MPs out bit. But
No.
you ask first.
I'll tell you why I get the MPs out bit. The MPs out is if they are the ones who have been responsible for the problems that we currently have because it has been seen as them being appendage of the executive, then the usefulness, should you say, is watered down. However, remember, we have a recall clause. In the absence of that process where you petition the President...
Yes, we still have, yes.
The people who elected them should have the say as to whether they want to keep the MP or not.
And there is a judgment to that effect.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Now, what we're saying is there is that important perspective of ensuring what comes before what. Because at the end of the day, even if you appoint would-be commissioners for the IEBC, there has to be a parliament to actually vet. So we're saying there are processes that probably need to go because we are seeking change.
Yeah, we can ask which one comes first.
Yes.
We can say, now that these, political novices or kleptocratic maniacs in Parliament are the ones who have done this, watch our kai to answer an IEBC. When they vet them, we recall them. It's rearranging. Which one goes A or B or C, which one is first?
Abdullah, there's something that has happened here you mentioned when we came in and we were discussing this thing off air, how many members of parliament are afraid to even go back to their constituencies.
Yes.
Now, let me ask the question. Let's say parliament is reconstituted again, or they're called back in, the recess is over. Do you think if an issue, say like the IEBC, comes before them, do you think they're going to make the sort of decisions that they made before, knowing exactly what the finance bill and their voting did? Do you think they'll be voting in the same way they
No, they'll be very careful.
Yes. So if they are careful, don't you think we'll have achieved what we wanted? Meaning at last, there's a check and balance.
Yes.
The politicians understand that if you make a decision that is unconstitutional,
You saw
or
what's happening in the Senate. Yes. You see,
Are we not saying, using a roundabout way essentially, to say that it was necessary for this jumper cable movement to happen?
Absolutely.
Because now there are conversations that are being had in this country, there are actions that are being made in this country, there are things that are being done, thought processes that have been turned on their head as a result of this thing that happened.
The Jay-Z came with
Gen Z
sophistication.
Came with this idea.
Very
Because
sophisticated.
Some questions we would not be asking now. Nobody had the effrontery at any point to begin to question what members of parliament were actually doing and push it to its logical conclusion. So are we not saying here that this sparked off something that my only hope would be that it ends in good governance? Because that's essentially what the call is for today. It's exemplified in Reject Finance Bill. It's exemplified, yes, in even of calls of Ruto must go. But what we are saying now is that the push is for good governance. And is that not where we should be going?
We will. But you see, when you start a process, there will be a lot of confusion. But along the way, you will be understanding which one comes first. What do we do next? You talk more. There is something no one can take away from Gen Z. The sophistication and mobilization of what they were doing. I think I was all texting you on WhatsApp. Sometimes I used to be awake until 2 a.m. for the first time in many years, unless I'm praying. Listening to Miguna, listening to doctors, listening to lawyers. And I was happy. You know, I was going to court, I told you, in 2013, because these are some of the things we were agitating for. Now, the JC have gone one step ahead.
Several, not even one.
Yes, I'm saying the sophistication in the sharing of information and revealing their numbers. They are revealing the Senate, the Congress and senators from White House who are there. I have all their details, courtesy of Gen Z. I can email them. Tell them, what are you doing in my parliament? I don't come to your Senate or Congress. What are you doing here? Now, they went further. They exposed, there are people who are specialized in cybersecurity. There are guys who did computer science. So, I think there was allegation that a video surfaced of Baringo women rep.
There were such allegations.
That lady disappeared from the scene from that day. No one has ever seen her again. Now, I'm told some of them sleep at Boma, members of parliament. Usiku wanaingia huko, wanalala, asubuhi wanatoka. Number plates have disappeared from cars. Sirens have disappeared. Taking the wrong lane has disappeared. That is the work of Gen Z. The president is no longer traveling. That is the work of Gen Z. You cannot take that away from them. But they were building on what was coming.
Yes.
And they are being supported by... There is a lady called Irene Chola who was at the church, crying, breaking down, saying we cannot just send, and she's in my age bracket. Okay? She said we cannot just allow to send our sons and daughters outside and stay at home. The church. I want please you to Google for us Matthew 5:37. Please.
Okay, I'll do
yes.
that. Okay.
Quran 3:185. We'll quote both books today for the benefit of people, and we're going to play 10 seconds of something here.
But let your speech be yea, yea, nay, nay, and whatever is more than these is of the evil one. Abi? Matthew 5:37.
Your Matthew
all
and
you
my
need
Matthew
to say,
all
you need to say
what does your Matthew
is
say?
simply yes or no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. That is Matthew 5:37. Did you mean another Matthew?
No.
My Matthew and your Matthew.
Okay.
Okay, which version would you like me to read it
Matthews.
in?
Let's
merge the Matthews.
Let's start the Quran 3:185.
Yes.
Every soul will taste death, and you'll only receive your full reward on the day of judgment. Whoever is spared from the fire and is admitted into paradise will indeed triumph, whereas the life of this world is no more than the delusion of enjoyment.
I've sent you WhatsApp. Please read for us, Ndu.
This your Matthew 5:37
My
is
Matthew
very
is different
interesting.
from
It's a different Matthew.
Maybe it's Malachi, but tuendelee.
Your Matthew
Matthew.
has 1T. The one in the Bible has 2.
It's Matthew.
Why do people engage in such deceit? To achieve their own aims and to achieve the objectives they desire. And so they adopt certain methods which shows that they are not upstanding and that they are not honest. At such times, people's insidiousness and cunning is revealed. Are you sure this is from the Bible?
Yes.
Anyway, and cunning is revealed, or else their maliciousness and ignobility. With these things, you feel that it is especially hard to be honest. Without them, you should feel that being honest is easy. The greatest obstacles to being honest are people's insidiousness, their deceitfulness, their maliciousness, and their ignoble motivations. Honesty means to give your heart to God. Never play him false in anything. To be open with him in all things. Never hiding the truth. Never to do that which deceives those above and deludes those below. And never to do that which merely ingratiates yourself with God. In short, to be honest is to refrain from impurity in your actions and words, and to deceive neither God nor man. Okay.
Yes, that one is... The one I sent you.
It doesn't sound to me like a
The Arabic one is
It doesn't sound like a Matthew 5:37.
كل نفس ذائقة الموت وإنما توفون أجوركم يوم القيامة فمن زحزح عن النار وأدخل الجنة فقد فاز وما الحياة الدنيا إلا متاع الغرور.
Please read for us the translation. 1853.
You only 1853?
Please.
All right, let me get back.
That is Surah Al-Imran. Number 3, 185 ayah.
All right, Quran 3, 185. Every soul will taste death, and you'll only receive your full reward on the day of judgment. Whoever is spared from the fire and is admitted into paradise will indeed triumph, whereas the life of this world is no more than the delusion of enjoyment.
Now,
I just have to clarify that Matthew 5:37 says, let your communication
This one is 37.
yes. 37?
Yeah, 37.
Let your communication be yes, yes, no, no, for whatsoever is more than these is evil.
This is 5:37.
This is Matthew 5:37.
Yeah, okay. Correction. Now, this is my way of seeing life. If you go to the graves here, we have Christian and Muslim graves, the same place. When they bring people there, the day 12th of February 2021, we lost Nyachai. I think he was being buried. I don't know whether he died before. Then there was the late Yusuf Haji. Then there was my son. That morning. All of them, for Muslims, my son was born an hour ago, and Yusuf Haji, the late, may Allah reward him in paradise, were all buried the same way. There was a small wrap of shit, through rituals, put in the graves, buried and left. Because I interacted with him, the late Yusuf Haji, and my son was just an hour old when he died. I said, maybe God one day, for the mercy of the child, is going to reward that man. When you go, and then there is a quote about, I think I quoted from Denzel Washington. He's talking about something that maybe our brother here will give us a lot of meaning, saying that, what did he say? He talked about something that caught my eye. He says,
paraphrase it.
Yeah, he talks about the U-Haul and has. You see, so
now tie these things together for us, Abdullah.
When you go to the, when you accumulate wealth,
yes,
material wealth, yes, artificial wealth,
yes,
you all leave it.
Yes, everybody leaves it.
Nothing goes with you to the grave.
No.
I've also sent you a hadith in the Quran that says the most useful people are those who are helpful to others.
Yes.
When I sit alone and help someone, I sometimes consider that to be the most selfish thing a human being can do, is helping someone else. Because the
selfish or selfless?
No, the most selfish thing. Because the feeling...
The most selfish thing is to be helpful, is to be selfless.
Is selfless. You see, when you help someone, the feeling is yours. Like I told you, you don't have to lie when you have money. You can tell someone, I have 100 shillings, I can't give it to you, but we can eat together. When you now eat together, the feeling you get as a human being, the person who gave, is not the same as the person who received. So if, as a human being, the artificial wealth you're accumulating, you're going to live, and you're stealing it, the Bible talks about those who are doing wrong will go to hell. You know that. Islam, you will go to hell if you steal, if you lie, if you fornicate, if you know, why are you doing all these things? We all commit mistakes, yes. But you repent.
If we look at the lives of the people who began this struggle, as we call it,
yes,
and we take the view that the struggle is a continuum, it's like a relay. You run, you hand
give
it over.
The baton.
You run, you hand it over. Now, this race has been run, and one learns with the time how to run and how to run better. Our first athletes who ran barefooted, even in the Olympics. Then with the time, everything improved.
With
running
pain and endurance.
Now, we are at a point where our protest process has improved tremendously. We don't have to meet at Makadara grounds. We do not have to meet at Kamkunji grounds.
Courtesy of technology.
And the meetings take place every single day, almost every single hour.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm to take what you've been saying, would you say we're in a good place?
As a country?
Yes. Because of what I've just said, would you say we're in a good place?
Of course we are. Of course we are.
Now, how do you ensure that this good becomes better?
You see, we are already better because I told you my grandfather was born in 1907.
Yes.
My father was born in the 50s. I was born in the 80s. My daughter is now 5 years going to Duxie. She has an iPad. I was a camel herder. My daughter doesn't know where animals are. She goes to school with Muslims and Christians. So my wife is a senior nurse with a degree in nursing. So you cannot compare my being a father of me being a father and my father being my father and my grandfather being the father of my father.
True.
Things have changed.
For the better.
For the better, because in 1960 when people were going to school, I was asking my dad, what happened to you people? You were 6. You see, so the country is in a better place. That's why last night the people who were hosting us, they were in London, Australia, Canada, Europe, Africa, and they were all over. We were all in Nairobi, and every Twitter space you see, there are more than 5,000, 25,000, listeners are about 5,000, like that. We have an opportunity to change our country for the better, yes. But Sudan is destroyed, Libya is destroyed, Syria is destroyed, Egypt is destroyed, Somalia is destroyed. You cannot talk about good governance when there is the rule of law.
Right.
The first principle of the rule of law is we should all be equal before the law.
That's it. Very well said, Abdullahi. Thank you very much for joining us. Abdullahi Alas is the executive director of Elite Crew Consulting. He's a consultant and a commentator on matters of governance. In the next hour, Kabete constituency, some voters want to send their MP home. We'll be discussing that. The recall clause, 8 a.m.
Spice up your life.
Good morning. This is the News Wire. I'm La Ubaga. President William Ruto is expected to fulfill his promise to initiate the process of appointing new IEBC officials as he is under pressure to sign reforms in the election laws passed in Parliament. Last week in an interview with Gen Z, the president said it will take him 10 days to align the process. President Ruto at the same time has until today to approve the IEBC amendments according to an agreement he made with his UDA party. Led by Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, the leaders have said the proposals are among issues they discussed in the NADCO report.
the culmination of which was the draft bills that are now lying in the National Assembly. We think that the low-lying fruit out of those discussions is the IEBC Amendment Bill 2024, which William Ruto has promised to sign into law. We say that this should be done expeditiously on this Sabasaba day so that we can have the process get underway of coming up as soon as possible with a new IEBC. Because the country right now is at a crossroads. This is not a thing that we think should be delayed for even one extra day.
The lack of IEBC commissioners has crippled the functioning of the commission and made it difficult to carry out many of its constitutional duties, including conducting by-elections. And moving on is that the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has directed MPs with concerns about President William Ruto's memorandum on the withdrawn Finance Bill 2024 to address them through committees. Ruto referred the bill back to the National Assembly with a recommendation to delete all clauses. In a new communication, Wetangula wants MPs, any member of the public with views on how to handle the legislation, to finance a committee. Molo MP Kuria Kimani chairs the committee. The Seven Kamsa's Raredia MP Otiende Amolo had written to the Speaker informing him that the avenue chosen by Ruto to get rid of the bill was not contemplated in the law. Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is expected to testify in a case against former Migori Governor Zachary Okoh Obado, his 4 children, Dana Chola Okoh, Scarlett Susan Okoh, Evelyn Zachary and Jerry Zachary, together with 11 other accused persons, in the hearing slated for today before Milimani Anti-Corruption Court's Chief Magistrate Victor Wakumile. The first prosecution witness, EACC investigating officer, will narrate to the court how an alleged illegal scheme by the former governor and his co-accused persons was hatched and executed. The accused persons will be in the dock in relation to the criminal charges they are facing for alleged theft of public funds and conflict of interest in Migori County Government. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has accused overzealous top government officials in the Ministry of Interior of sabotaging the fight against illicit brews and drug abuse by reopening bars without his knowledge. Speaking in Nyeri, Gachagua expressed his dismay at the reopening of bars, stating that the action undermines President William Ruto's administration, especially in the Mount Kenya region, where there is strong opposition to the sale of illicit brew.
Mr. President, if you allow overzealous officers at Harambee House with a political scheme to interfere with this war against illicit brew, those people, those officers will set you up against the people.
And finally, on the international scene, a growing number of Democrats in the U.S. Congress are calling on Democratic President Joe Biden to end his re-election bid after the 81-year-old incumbent's halting debate performance against Republican rival Donald Trump. This even comes as Biden was back out on the campaign trail Sunday, desperate to salvage his re-election bid, as senior Democrats met to discuss growing calls that he quit the White House race. The 81-year-old Democrat took the stage at Black Church in Philadelphia, part of a 2-stop wing in the battleground state of, before he hosts his NATO Leaders Summit in Washington later this week. That's the Newswire. I'm Leah Ubaga.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
Okay, so a few minutes after 8 o'clock, and I think we're seeing traffic off the jump. Certain parts of the city, it's heavy as you're coming towards the CBD this morning. Quite a lot of traffic that's spilling over from Landis towards Likoni Road. Jago Road also then getting towards Landis, and then Lusaka Road as well. Uhuru Highway is very busy from the Lusaka Road junction going out then towards Haile Selassie. Traffic is bumper to bumper. It's also bumper to bumper on Raila Odinga Way. Traffic is also starting to build on Langata Road this morning. And also then on Gong Road. As we go out west, we're looking at traffic then coming out of Westlands. James Gishuru, very busy as you approach the drift, spilling over and then going out into the city this morning. So everywhere you look, there's traffic. We are in traffic hour, still very heavy on the Thika Superhighway, and that's coming in heavy also on Kiambu Road. We're keeping an eye on all of this morning. Help us out. Let's talk SpiceFM KE on X. Hashtag the Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Tomorrow, semi-finals, Euro 2024, Germany,
Spain, and England face France, or otherwise known as Africa United. You can watch it, you know, and you don't have to be right in front of your TV when you do that. Africa's upgraded streaming platform says, you know what, log on to Showmax today. You can download the app on your mobile phone, on your Google Play Store or Apple App Store, and you can then register, pay and watch. 500 shillings allows you live matches. You can watch the live matches, you can watch fan content and analysis and all of this great stuff. 500 bob a month, you can watch the finals live. None of this, it's been locked because it's the finals kind of business. You can actually watch it on the go, wherever you are, wherever you will be. It's Showmax, Shika Showmax.
Kabisa. Shika, Kamata, Wenda nayo. Okay, and that's that you're thinking international. If you are thinking of premium international coverage for those who need that kind of health coverage, Jubilee Health Insurance offers the Care and Health Plan in partnership with Ednah Group and underwritten by Allianz. This plan provides coverage limits up to $4.5 million and access to global healthcare in over 183 countries. Perfect for those who travel frequently or those who require global medical support. It's incredibly comprehensive. It covers pre-existing conditions up to the full cover limit. You also have flexible payment options, 24/7 emergency evacuation assistance, repatriation services for those that are seeking that top-tier global coverage, care and health. That's their plan. It's called Care and Health by Jubilee Health Insurance. www.jubileehealthinsurance.com, or you can call them 0709 949 000. Our next guests are in the studio. So Kabete is a constituency, okay? Yeah, there's a place called Kabete, yeah. But there's also a constituency now called Kabete. Now, the people of Kabete in 2022 elected a member of parliament. In 2024, some voters in Kabete are not happy with their member of parliament, and they've initiated a move to recall their member of parliament. What does that mean? What's the legal position on this? You know, with this Gen Z conversation, we've got into the position of saying, you know, we need to recall our MPs. We have invited two people in the studio. One of them is an advocate of the High Court, Eric Muriuki, and Ndongi Githuku is a human rights defender, an award-winning actor, and a resident of Kabete constituency. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning to you all. Thank you.
Karibuni sana to the hot seat of the Situation Room. Are you feeling well?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Very good.
The hot seat is a bit cold.
It's cold?
Okay, don't
Don't worry.
worry.
We're going to warm it up shortly. For example, Eric, do you know where Roy Sambu is?
Yes, I do.
You know where Roy Sambu is?
Yes.
But there's an Aga Khan University hospital center there in Roysambu. Where exactly? Ndu, tell him.
It's called the Roysambu Specialty Care Center, and it is right on the Roysambu roundabout at Jewel Plaza. Can you see it? I'm sure you can see it.
I think I've seen it.
You can see it. Now, if you see it, then you can imagine that inside there's a lot of fantastic things happening when it comes to health. Because Aga Khan believes that you shouldn't have to travel very far from where you work or where you live to access medical care, right? So that's where the establishment of this care center came about. So imagine a host of medical facilities and services available: oncology, endoscopy, dialysis, chemotherapy, minor surgeries can all be done right there, close to where you live. All carried out by experts, from oncologists to gastroenterologists to surgeons and specialty medical care. All of that happens right there, and off of the belief that universal care, fantastic health care, can happen here and now.
Very good, Senor. It's a good thing, isn't it? City.
Awesome.
Mr. Eric Muriuki is feeling cold where he's seated. Why don't you give him a warm embrace with the day's proverb?
Don't always trust in the present. There's always a future. So keep cool for the time being.
Oh, wow.
Tutakushughulikia karibuni.
Thank you.
Our proverbs for the whole of this week come from the island nation, the island republic of Sao Tome and Principe. It's actually a Central African country. We were debating about how does a Central African country have a beachfront. Well,
No. How is a Central African country an island?
yes,
Yeah.
exactly, precisely.
Oh, we say it is located in the central parts of Africa.
Perhaps I could explain this by giving
There is
another
where it
example.
Yeah.
How exactly is a Seychelles an East African country? And yet it's
Yes.
an island.
It's-
It's the same question. How is Mauritius considered an East African country?
Yes.
And yet it's an island. It is for that same reason. Okay? Right. Now, what I'll tell you about the country, there are many things to say, but let me just say one thing, which because I found this particularly interesting. They have a currency. We have a shilling. You know what they have?
No.
Hint. It has the name that is almost the same as that of a very lethal snake.
Cobra.
This man went to school.
Oh.
The currency is not called Cobra, it's called Dobra.
Dobra.
It's all right.
From a C to a D.
Yeah, exactly.
See, just one letter away and he was right there.
I was going to say Mamba.
I almost said Pafada.
Okay, now for the proverb. Do not blame God for creating the tiger, but thank him for not giving it wings.
Do not blame God for creating the tiger, but thank him
For giving it
wings.
For not
giving it wings.
Yes.
You can imagine a flying tiger. Oh, yeah.
What's your interpretation of that, Wakili?
Well, my interpretation is no matter how bad the situation is, it could always be worse. So try to look on the brighter side.
Oh.
Yes.
Because imagine a flying tiger.
Yeah.
You have nowhere to hide.
Yeah, I think for me it's it just brings the GNZ in my mind, the image. We have a tiger in the streets. That's the GNZ. It has got no wings, but this one is flying.
Watch out for this one.
Watch out for this one.
This one, eh?
This one.
Somebody in the comments is wondering, kwani people of Sao Tome have rigiji? How do they come across a tiger?
I was just thinking about
to
that.
put it in their proverb.
I think it's stuff that's lost in translation, isn't it? That it could be a big cat that was being referred to, and the first person who translated it into English decided that it was a tiger. It could have been a lion. It could have been a leopard. But tiger just seems...
There are tigers in Madeira, there can be tigers in Sao Tome.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Africa.
This is Africa.
Anything is possible.
Yes, it is. I mean, if you talk about, there's a gentleman, well, there was this individual called Samson who killed a lion. Okay, now, where that person came from, they're not lions. I mean, now.
Yes.
But at that point in time, they were lions.
They were lions.
Big cats.
But it was, but no, they're not tigers on this continent.
No, they're not. We know that.
So it's just
That's what I'm
a
saying.
big
It's
cat.
translation. Big cats. And the first person
tiger.
who brought English. They assumed a lot of things.
It's a tiger.
Tigers are big leopard.
It's a tiger. I'm telling you.
Decided.
Dongi?
Yes.
Are you a voter in Kabete constituency?
I am a voter.
Did you participate in the last election?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did as a voter and also as a candidate for the seat of MCA.
All right.
Independent candidate.
Okay. Now, something is happening in Kabete. Just tell us what this is.
Wow. Yeah, Kabete is just in the suburbs of Nairobi. We have registered voters. The number is 98,000. What we have is that we've had very good MPs in the past, members of National Assembly in the past. I'll just mention Muite, a human rights defender.
I was going to say Baba Yao. But
we also are very interesting people in Kabete because from Muite to Baba Yao to Waitito is also interesting. So what we have done is that after we got Baba Yao, and also, he used Kabete as a stepping stone to become the governor of Kiambu, it is in Kabete that we actually said something is wrong. Yes, we hosted you, we elected you, and now you're the governor, and now the people of Kiambu are saying Okoh Kiambu. And so we Okoh Kiambu. We took signatures, we collected signatures to get rid of Baba Yao. So what is happening in Kabete right now is that we are quite dissatisfied with the member of National Assembly for Kabete, Mr. James Githua Kamau. And he has added another name, Wamashukuru, him of the schools. And so what we have done is that we have started an initiative to recall the member of parliament for Kabete, and we are doing it legally. We are following the constitution, and we are very safe, feeling that our constitution is one of the best, and it is helping us recall and take power. By saying we have had enough of you.
So what are you doing?
Well, we have started the process of the recall process. And on the 24th was it June of...
Last month?
Yes.
June.
We occupied, the Gen Z asked us, on that Monday, let's occupy constituency offices. So in Kabete, we occupied the members' office in Wangige, and we were peaceful. We carried packets of unga. They were quite symbolic because we say that one of the grounds that we are recalling this guy on is bribery. He has been bribing our mothers, our grandmothers, people, poor people with unga. So we took back unga to him, and we say that sasa hatuna deni. In Gikuyu we said leo totirithire kwisha tumemaliza. So there's no way you can come back to us and tell us si unakumbuka niliwapatia unga. So we have taken the unga back to him.
Dongi, can I ask you, what was he allegedly, according to you, bribing people for?
He has been bribing people for loyalty. He has been bribing people so that we don't ask him questions. So that instead of solving problems, he comes with unga, which some people need, for sure. We know that maisha iko juu. So that is one of the things we are saying, that we do not want to be bribed again.
Okay, so I'm just going to hold on to that for a minute.
Okay.
So essentially what we are saying here is that Member of Parliament said he was going to do certain things, or under his ambit as Member of Parliament was responsible for making certain things happen, or to even keep a campaign promise. For example, I'm going to erect a school here, I'm going to complete a dormitory here, I'm going to, give my push to make sure a road here is completed, etc. So in the absence of that being done, essentially unga, which is food every day, is being given to people so that you don't make too much noise.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Keep quiet. Yeah?
Yes, exactly. That is the point. Okay. And so we are saying we are beyond that. We have a constitution. We are dignified people. And all we want the member of National Assembly for Kabete is to play his role. Do your job in Parliament. Go and talk on behalf of the people who elected you. Githua has never said anything in Parliament, but just the other day he said yes, though.
He's never opened his mouth?
What do you mean? Never opened his mouth, because we are doing research, and the Hansard, is open to us. So we want to know how many times he's actually uttered a word in parliament. We sent him there to represent us nationally. You know why we elect people?
Or in the plenary of parliament.
Yes.
But has he spoken in the committees that he
In the committees, we are doing our research on that.
Okay.
We want to know, you know. And we feel let down because when you elect a member to represent you in parliament, it's because all of us in Kabete cannot go to parliament to speak on our behalf. So we select or elect one person. And so that person should go and speak the voice of the people of Kabete, which he hasn't done. And if he has gone against the wishes. We asked him to say no. He said yes. We wrote him emails. We wrote him SMSs. We wrote him WhatsApp messages saying that you have to vote no. But he actually went against the people of Kabete.
Okay. Wakili, come in here.
Yes.
What does the Constitution say? What does the law say on recalling a member of parliament?
Thank you very much. So, the right of recall is covered under Article 104 of the Constitution of Kenya. And note that it is a right, even though it is not in the Bill of Rights, which is Chapter 4, Chapter 5 of the Constitution. It is a right. And Article 19.3 makes reference to other rights that are not in the Bill of Rights. And under Article 104 of the Constitution, you can recall your member of parliament at any time before the term is over. And that article also requires parliament, or at least required parliament during the transitional times, to make laws providing for the grounds and the procedure of recall of an MP. Recalling an MP simply means, removing him from that position, kumfuta kazi, kumnyang'anya unga. And the legislation that Parliament enacted was the Elections Act. That is from sections 45 to 48 of the Elections Act for the recall of members of Parliament. And here Parliament means both Senate and the National Assembly.
Right.
Then there was a commensurate legislation for recalling members of county assemblies because that is also another parliament at the county level, at the devolved level. It's for representing the people. So this was also then enacted in sections 27, 28, and I think 29 of the County Governments Act. And these laws, they are mirror images of each other. However, when Parliament enacted these laws on recall, they made it so that it is almost impossible, or it was almost impossible to recall a member of Parliament because they had things like requiring you to get a judgment of the High Court, for you to initiate this process of recall. They had conditions like a person who contested for that position in the previous election and lost could not initiate a recall. They had other provisions, which some of them are still there. But then Katiba Institute went to court in 2016 in a petition called petition number 209 of 2016, and judgment was given by a judge of the High Court, a very courageous judge called E.C. Mwita. And that judgment struck out some of those sections that were making it almost impossible to recall a member of Parliament. Some of the sections that were struck out by that judgment included that requirement to get a judgment of the High Court. The grounds that had been set in that Elections Act, Section 45, 1, were found to be vague because the law was saying if after due process of law one is found to have committed an offense, if after due process of law one is found to have committed misconduct, But what is due process of law? These sections, these specific sections, were found to be superfluous because we already have Chapter 6 of the Constitution. We have the Leadership and Integrity Act. We have the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Act. We also have Article 99 of the Constitution, which gives qualifications and disqualifications for election as a member of Parliament. So those specific sections were struck out. The other section that was struck out was the one requiring that you get a judgment of the High Court confirming these grounds. The other section that was struck out was the one saying that if you participated or if you are seeking for election against this member of Parliament in the previous election, you could not initiate a recall. And tying back to the first question that you asked Ndungi, whether he participated in the last election in his constituency, that specific section was also found to be unconstitutional. Because does it mean that if I was not registered as a voter in 2022, let's assume for argument's sake that I was 17 at that time. Of course I wasn't, but let's assume I was 17. I have now come of age. I have subsequently registered as a voter. I'm in this constituency, and I don't feel that my member of Parliament is representing me. Does that mean I cannot initiate a recall? That is discriminatory.
So what does the law now say?
So now,
do I need to be a voter registered in a constituency to initiate?
Yes, thank you.
Participate.
So what happened is when this judgment came, you see, judges do not per se legislate. They do not make law. They will pronounce that this section is unconstitutional, this section is unconstitutional, this section is unconstitutional. And then it will be up to the legislative arm to now align those laws with the Constitution, right, or to make good law. The judge stops at the moment of declaring something unconstitutional.
Okay.
Parliament went ahead and amended the County Governments Act on recall of MCAs, but they did not amend the Elections Act on their recall.
Oh, this is a big surprise, don't you think?
So as we stand right now,
yes,
everything that was in the law before Katiba Institute went to court is still in the law.
It is still in the statute books, but it is null and void. At least those sections that are
as declared by the court.
Were declared. Yes, they are just decorations on that statute book because they are unconstitutional.
So, Wakili,
yes,
are we saying essentially that the law has prepared the way for the process of the recall of Parliament now, or members of Parliament, to actually happen? Yes, no, or is it still a bit iffy?
So I want you to get me clearly, and every Kenyan to get me clearly. The right of recall is provided for under the Constitution. Inadequacy of legislation in the Elections Act or whatever other act of Parliament cannot, surpass the Constitution. The Constitution is supreme, so it cannot extinguish that right of recall.
Understood.
But when it comes to the procedure to use it, because Parliament has not done what it was supposed to do, what we have to do now is, apply logic and use the law that is available. We look at what was declared unconstitutional, and then we look at what remains. And the reason why I mentioned the process of recall of MCAs is because these two provisions, they were exact mirror images of each other. So, and if one, if they have failed to amend the one that is for their recall, but they have amended the other ones, we can just borrow the procedure that is there and proceed with it.
Okay. So we're still saying that it is not as easy as one would think, right? That if we see, like we've said, the good folks of Kabete have said, you know what, this just doesn't go. It's not on at all. And there are certain things that we cannot allow. We put this person in office, and this jurisdiction over which they are there is not operating optimally. It is not operating in the manner in which we had hoped it would. We are still saying that the law, which gives right of recall, in procedure is not as easy. What option then does it leave with the people? Because, the good folks of Kabete could go around, they could get all the signatures that they need, they can present it to the House of Parliament, they can do 1, 2, 3. But we're still saying that procedurally, it would be extremely difficult.
Would it? No. What you are saying is it's not clearly provided, the way it's supposed to be in black and white. And it is mischief, it is by design. Because can you tell me why these members of parliament saw it fit to amend the County Governments Act on recall of MCAs, but not the Elections Act on recall of members of...
Then answer this question, yes or no. So is it easy to recall a member of parliament?
I would not say easy, and it is not supposed to be easy, because
is it straightforward?
It is straightforward. It might not be easy, because even collecting 30%
okay, by easy is not that you wake up and you just snap.
Yes, you don't wake up and use that process.
Are there legal hindrances
to
right
having this
now?
Happen. If I want to bake a cake, I'm going to put flour, eggs, sugar, butter. I'm going to mix it up, add some milk, put it in the oven. Out comes a cake. Here we are saying we want to recall a member of parliament. We need signatures. We take it to point X. We take it to point Y. We take it to point Z. Will a member of parliament be recalled at the end of that procedure? This is what we're saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is why I prefaced my earlier statement by saying absence or presence of legislation does not extinguish a constitutional right. The constitution is a supreme law. And of course, we can have arguments about whether the procedure is easy or not easy, but that is neither here nor there.
Actually, it is actually neither.
It has to be here.
It has to be here. Because you see, as a lawyer, you see with clarity things which we cannot see. We don't have your lenses.
Okay.
Now, for you to achieve what you seek, those who are going to append their signatures need to understand this. And they will probably refer to what they have read, what they've understood, what they've been told.
Okay.
So, for this to have the sort of support you need, beyond wanting the MP out, I know that's an excellent motive, so they'll probably just sign without thinking too much of it. But then, beyond signing, there is a process that you must go through. Now, I mention this because of, if you begin that process, and then we're suddenly told, actually, what the Constitution says is this guy has to be in Parliament for at least 3 years before you can actually impeach him. Or, no, actually, this guy needs to. Now, when you start a process, people know about it, and then the end result is that this is difficult. Instead of shining the light brightly on this process, what you'll have done, you'll have dimmed it. Because other people who will then think, they'll say, hey, no.
Exactly.
Let's take a break. When you come from the break, we just want to understand, Kinandongi have started this process of signatures. Where is the signature in law? And then the next thing, what are they going to do?
What are they going to do with it?
So are they going to go to Angiga and say, here, list of signatures, go home? Or can we count this as a vote? Let's take that break. It's 27 minutes to 9. Our guests this morning are Eric Muriuki, he's an advocate of the High Court, and Ndongi Gethuku, he's a human rights defender, an award-winning actor, and a voter and resident of Kabete constituency. He and others have started a move to remove their member of parliament, to recall the Honorable James Gethua Kamau wa Mashukuru and tell him, your term, Mr. MP, is over. Now we are now testing the recall clause, and this is it. We want to hear how is this going to play out. We'll be back shortly. Keep it here.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Business news with SpiceFM.
This is the Business Wire, brought to you by Stanbic Bank. I'm Leah Ubaga. Kenya Institute of Supplies Management has embarked on a cleanup exercise aimed at ridding the profession of fake suppliers and procurement practitioners. Chief Executive Kenneth Matiba said the move has been necessitated by the need to restore sanity in the profession after alarming reports indicated there's a huge number of quacks. The International Monetary Fund might push back its board approval of fresh funding to Kenya following the withdrawal of the controversial Financial Bill 2024, which has prompted the multilateral lender to review its projection of the country's spending and revenue targets. The IMF Executive Board had been expected to hold a meeting on Friday, July 12th to complete the 7th Extended Credit Facility and Extended Fund Facility and the second review under the Resilience and Sustainability Facility. That's the Business Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga.
Financial tips brought to you by Stanbic Bank. How do I choose a bank for my savings account? Choose a trusted bank. Choose an account that helps you to save your spare cash and build up your cash reserves while offering a competitive rate. Choose a bank that allows for convenience and savings by offering digital solutions to save and build your wealth. Look for banks that charge low or no fees. Find a bank that supports your lifestyle. Stanbic offers 1. Digital account opening allowing you to open and transact on your account at your convenience. 2. No fees charged on savings account. 3. Interest calculated daily and paid monthly into your savings account, hence compounded interest. We are currently running an exciting offer where we are paying up to 14% interest on our local currency savings account. 4. Free standing orders from your current account to your savings account. 5. Savings account can be opened in any of the major foreign currencies. 6. Borrow against your savings balances.
Spice FM Business. The weather with Spice FM.
Sunny morning in Nairobi, 17 degrees. We'll see highs of 23, highs of 25, and a cloudy Nakuru at 15, and it's 15 and sunny. In Nyeri, going to highs of 23. 23 will be the high, and a cloudy Eldoret at 15. We're looking to a sunny Mombasa, 25, with highs of 30, and we'll see highs of 29, and a sunny Malindi at 26. It's 22 and cloudy in Kisumu with highs of 27, and we'll see highs of 26, and a cloudy Kakamega at 18. Kampala is sunny at 20, highs of 27, and at 23. Dar es Salaam is sunny through Monday with highs of 31. We're looking into a freezing Johannesburg is 3 degrees. We'll see highs of -3 and lows of -3 and highs of 8. While Mogadishu will be sunny through today, highs of 30 and lows of 25. It's cloudy at 15 in Addis Ababa with highs of 22. Lagos is cloudy at 25 with highs of 29, and it's mostly sunny at 21 in Kinshasa with highs of 30.
Baba boy, gasi imeisha, shopping imeisha, na ujue tokens bado zinalia.
Msupa, nipe mbao na 20 minutes.
Mbao, like 20 bob. 20 minutes, kwani kuna nini? Na ujue mimi nataka kupika haki.
Jaber, kwani ujui dakika mamilini every 20 minutes, halafu wanapea na 10 million every 20 minutes, na hadi kuna 3 millionaires every hour.
Daka mamili virahisi. Uko na nafasi 3 ya kuwa millionaire kila hour. Usipitwe, cheza daka, ushike mita yako sasa. Chagua nambari zako 4 za bahati and win up to 10 million every 20 minutes. Nenda kwenye paybill 440440. Account, Spice, amount. Cheza na shilingi 20 hadi shilingi 2000 na ushinde mamilioni. Daka mita, kuwa bingwa.
We're still in traffic hour. Let's see what's popping as we come into the CBD this morning. There's some traffic still on Uhuru Highway getting into the junction with Haile Selassie. As you come off of Thika Superhighway, what we're looking at now is most traffic then heading out towards Muranga Road and then all circling around that Globe Cinema roundabout. But then getting onto Wangari Maathai Way, traffic is going to connect with what's coming off of Chiromo and then heading towards Uhuru Highway. So that's doing its whole thing there. There's traffic also then coming off of Waiyaki Way. It's busy coming off of James Gishuru. Well, yes, it is. Inbound and outbound traffic over the drift is still doing the thing. And let's take a quick look at Langata Road, which was starting to pile up just a while ago. Some of that traffic going towards Raila Odinga Way. But it's all manageable for now. All right? Let's see what's going on. If it does get worse, talk to us. If it gets better, talk to us as well. On SpiceFM, KE, on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM,
right,
Nairobi.
Our conversation continues with Wakili Eric Murioki and Ndongi Githuku, human rights defender, voter and resident of Kabete constituency. Kabete and what do you call Kabete people?
Kabetarians.
Yeah.
Cabbage.
They have decided to recall a member of parliament. Well, at least some of the voters. And Ndongi and others are going around now trying to convince others to sign on to this petition. So you launched this on the 24th of June after you went there with the Unga and you said, Unga Rudisha.
Yes.
The next thing you started the signature campaign.
Yes.
What is in your plan? How are you going through it? And then we shall hear whether this is going according to the law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so on the 24th, what we did is that we returned the unga and we said, Totire dhire, hatuna deni, we owe you nothing. And then we launched the collection of signatures on the 30th. And we were hosted at a church. And that is the day that, again, the GNZ had given us the agenda of the day. This Sunday, 30th, occupy churches. So we occupied church. And we occupied church by going in there and doing civic education. We were given this forum and we were very grateful, where we explained to the people of Kabete that this is what we are planning to do. And we asked them, are you okay with that? And actually they said yes. So we did the morning service and the Gikuyu service. The generations are different. And so it was in the Gikuyu service, which we were not sure about, because these are the people largely who receive the unga. And immediately that we launched the signature collection after the civic education in the service, almost the entire membership congregation came to sign signatures, including people I've seen and witnessed Wamashukuru giving money to directly. They came and started signing the signatures. So on that day, we collected about 1,300, and that uplifted us a lot, because they said, wow, we didn't even know that people are this tired. What happened after that is that we have been going to marketplaces. We have been going door to door. There are people who cannot quite get to the place where we're having the signatures done. And they are calling us and say, please make sure that my signature is there, come. And so we have volunteers on the ground, people who are going with their forms, collecting signatures. So far, I would say we are going to about 7,000 signatures. We need 15.
Are you doing any verification to know whether the person signing is a voter?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
First and foremost is the issue of trust. Okay, and again, is the volunteers who are collecting the signatures are from the area. So if it is the village of Mwimuto, we actually know each other. We know that you are a voter. But again, in terms of the legal procedure, we have already written to the IEBC. We know they are not commissioners, but the secretariat is up and kicking. It's alive. So we have formally written requesting for the register, the official register, so that now after collection of all these, we will now do the donkey work, verifying, so that we don't have a barrier ahead, kind of saying these are not, we want to take genuine signatures to the IEBC.
Okay.
And so far so good.
Okay. Next steps?
Next steps, we are targeting 15,000 signatures. As I said, we have almost 8,000. I guess by evening today could be a bit more. And we are predicting that we will get maybe 20,000, if not more. So what we'll do with that is that our lawyers, who are actually Gen Z lawyers from Kabete, are the ones handling the matter, and they will take it forward now. Legally starting the IEBC procedure of the recall of Gedua, James, Wamashukuru.
Donkey, I look at it as a process.
It is
right?
a process.
Because it's not just recalling a member of parliament, but that it is also instituting somebody else who then there is a feeling that will actually do a better job according to cabs.
Yes.
I'm going to call you guys.
Cabs.
So we are saying that it's not just getting somebody out, but it is also getting somebody in. And when we usually, this is in as much as it's for the people, we can't run away from the high political draw that it brings, right? So can we say that it is pure in its intention to remove or to recall somebody for whom has brought dissatisfaction amongst the people, or who pundits may look at it and say, actually, no, it's an opportunity to bring somebody else in. And I mean, it's unfortunate that you would have to bring that up, but it is important for us to look at that angle as well. Is there any play of that apparent here, or are we saying actually no? It's the people who are saying, no, we cannot deal with bad governance anymore. We have to institute proper governance. Or is there politics at play here?
Absolutely no. There is no politics at play here. And again, sometimes I want to say, what is politics? Politics is everything that we do. So it's hard to, but I think what you mean is that, is there somebody behind us who is trying to manipulate the people so that they get through us and get into parliament?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
This is a people's initiative. This is actually a GNZ initiative, I must say. Because what you're saying is that after Githua or Mashukuru is recalled, we actually will have a process of getting to select people who we think are the ones who we will vote for in the by-election. We will have a panel. We'll have them answer questions. We want to get the best person from Kabete to represent us in parliament so that we are never in this mess again. Kabete is known to be one of the highest revenue collectors and everything. But when you come to Kabete, you find that there are no roads. There's no tarmac. What we have are misplaced priorities. Like one of the things that Githua Mashukuru has been doing is about developing, improving schools in our villages. Kibishiku Primary School, for example, had a gate. But he came and removed this gate and replaced it with another gate at the cost of about 3 to 4 million. That's absurd.
His money? How many gates?
One gate.
His money?
Our money.
Okay.
But the problem is that actually his name is again inscribed on that gate. So we have Dongoro Primary School. We have all these schools. Dongoro Primary School gate was a beautiful gate done by the old boys and girls of that primary school, just past Kingero. And what he did is that he removed this beautiful gate and replaced it with a worse,
And this one also has his name.
And this one has his name. So the people of Dongoro are actually saying, okay, you replaced it. Where is our old gate?
Donkey, my brother. An MP or anybody cannot just walk into a school and uproot a gate. All right? There's a board of management. There's a school principal or headmaster. There's procedure for doing that.
And there's a PA, Parents Association.
And there's a Parents Association. All those people are involved. If they were not happy with the gate, and they petitioned the member of parliament, and the member of parliament petitioned the CDF committee. I'm just, here looking at it, he followed procedure because he cannot use the money just like that.
Yeah.
The member of parliament hears the voice of the cries of the people of Nongoro Primary, talks to the CDF committee. The CDF committee allocates money for a gate. The CDF committee goes ahead and does the procurement for the gate, and a gate is installed there, and he's just thanked by the people of the PA and the board of that school by putting his name there. Makosa yake iko wapi?
Makosa yake ni impunity. Wajanja wa impunity, wakati wenu umefika. Now we are scrutinizing everything. We want to see those minutes from the board of these schools. We want to see the minutes and the dates where they agreed that tutatoa hii gate mzuri, tuweke hii mbaya. We want to see that. We want to see the air tickets of the head teachers that he took to Dubai the other day. We want to see them.
They went to Dubai?
Alienda Dubai.
That's very good.
All right? So we want to know whose money is that. Is this his money, like Eric is asking? It's our money. And so what we're saying to the people of Kabete, or the people of Kabete are saying to the people of Kenya, please look into what is happening in your constituencies.
Okay. Now that brings us to the grounds. Are you going to the voters with a list of the grounds for which you want Mashukuru to be recalled?
Yes, we are.
What are those grounds?
These grounds are actually documented. Because what we are doing is that we are also doing civic education. We are letting people know the crimes that our member of National Assembly has committed. And we are saying that, one, he has failed to listen to the voice of the people of Kabete who instructed him to vote no on the Finance Bill 2024 and instead voted yes.
Okay.
Number two, his inactivity in Parliament, whereby other than swearing in or voting yes and or no, he has never said a word in Parliament.
And that is activity.
That's an inactivity.
Okay.
Lack of it.
His activity on that one has been very inactive. Number three, he has misunderstood the priorities of the people of Kabete, whereby, for instance, he has bought school buses which are not able to, he is not able to maintain. And the said buses have other we have other pressing needs like abolition blocks, books, teachers, students, are going to school almost barefoot, classes, laboratories. We don't have those. We don't have libraries. I don't know any school in Kabete which has a library. Kitchens, fences, school halls, etc. Those ones are not there. But we have buses which are rotting. For example, in Kibishiku Primary School, there are 2 buses at the parking lot. New, never been used, never gone anywhere.
But comrade.
Yes, comrade.
Surely. He came in just the other day.
Yes.
Everything you've mentioned, did some of these things exist before he came in and he found them, or is he the one who has brought all these problems that we're seeing here?
He has escalated the problems that we had. He has escalated the poverty that we've had.
Tabu ilikuweko,
lakini ametuweka kwa shimo kubwa zaidi.
Okay.
In the name of development.
Misunderstood priorities is count number 3. Count number 4?
He has grossly shown his disdain for the people of Kabete, as it is alleged that he took his members of staff as well as primary school head teachers of Kabete constituencies on an all expenses paid trip to Dubai, whereby these persons were also given hefty pocket money allowances. All these was courtesy of the Kabete constituency NG-CDF allocation.
What was the purpose of this trip?
I guess the purpose of this trip was wengine hawajaipanda ndege, others have never been on a plane, and just make them happy.
There was no education excursion.
Ama ilikuwa ni benchmarking for in Dubai, schools in Dubai.
Yes.
All right.
Waende waangalie gate za huko.
Tunataka kuona hizo gate.
Wakirudi.
Yes. Yeah. They actually didn't want us to know. They didn't want us to know because actually if it was benchmarking, they should have let us know. They should have said, we are taking these 5 teachers or 6 teachers to Dubai because of this and that. But they did it secretly. It's just that to Komacho, we know them. We know those teachers. And we are not blaming the teachers. We are blaming
the leader.
Okay.
All these counts, Dongi.
Number 5.
You have others, huh?
Yes.
Let's hear the others. Let's hear all of them.
Let's hear that because we have written them and because we want all this to be documented. We want people to understand. So 5. Further to the above, it is reported that a head teacher who had been transferred from Muga model to a school in Thika was part of the team that went to Dubai, courtesy of NG-CDF. Huyu atasiwa Kabete. So alienda ku benchmark nini?
Si mali ameenda. Knowledge inaenda na yeye. Yes.
Number 6. There have been reports of rampant corruption during the construction of school gates, whereby it is alleged that a mere gate is considered to cost between 3 to 4 million shillings only.
What's on this gate, boy?
Hii gate, we'll check kama iko na dhahabu, but I don't know and I doubt.
What have you seen on the gate?
What I've seen on the gate is
chuma. Is it wooden? What?
Ni chuma, lakini iko na jina yake. Hiyo ndio ile kitu tunaweza sema.
Does the school have a fence? The schools.
Just a gate.
Oh my God. I'll give you. Oh my God. What we have, and people of Kenya, please, we are not malicious, The gates in some of these schools that are being replaced, they got no fences. We only have a gate. It's locked because we walk.
But if I may say, so I'm not being facetious. It's not that bad. We have schools we were shown in some part of the country where there's just a gate.
Yes. And they receive funding.
No, there's no school.
There's no school.
There's no school. They only receive funding for there.
At least here there's a school.
Hapo iko school.
And now there's a gate.
Ile kitu haiko, kuna school, kuna gate, lakini hakuna fence.
Okay. And 3 million shillings to 4 million shillings
zimeenda.
Okay.
Na hii pesa inapatiagwa one contractor. We know that guy.
Okay.
One in all of these schools. And the last 2 is 7. the 2021 and 2022 Auditor General's report, which we have, raised some serious audit queries on the sustainability of some of the projects that are being undertaken in Kabete. And lastly, he is on record inciting members against a constituent, members of his team, against a constituent who suffered actual bodily harm as a result thereof. Goons. We are coming to goons now. It happened at Kibishiku Primary School. Somebody who he thinks asks him questions, like opposes him. Alipigwa sana huyo kijana. Na sasa wako kotini.
Wakili.
Yes.
These grounds, I think grounds that would hold water. That because somebody voted yes, because people had screamed in bars and sent messages saying vote no, but there was no formal petition that was presented to this member of parliament, signed by members of Kabete constituency, instructing him to vote no, they want him out. Because there is no record of him speaking in the plenary of parliament, but nothing to go about the work that whether he's done work in committees, whether he's attended committee meetings, whether he has actually attended parliament, whether he has participated in the votes and decision making in parliament, he should go home. Because there are buses that have been bought and they are not being used, not by him, but by the schools, he should go home. Because people went on a trip to Dubai courtesy of the NGCDF, in which he plays no part in law. He is not the secretary. He is not the CEO of the board. He is not the chairman of the constituency development fund committee. He expends no money. He should go home. Because it's alleged that a gate was constructed at 3 to 4 million shillings. He should go home. Are these grounds that can actually withstand scrutiny?
Well, so first of all, the grounds that were there in the Elections Act at first were declared to be unconstitutional because they were vague. In fact, the language of the court was that they were superfluous in view of the fact that we have Chapter 6 and we have the Leadership and Integrity Act. On top of that, the reason why I drew the parallels to the County Governments Act for impeachment or for removal, for recall of an MCA, the County Governments Act gives 4 grounds, and the 4 grounds are gross violation of the Constitution or any law, gross misconduct, incompetence, and being found guilty of an offense that attracts a punishment of being jailed for more than 6 months. So when I listen to Ndungi's grounds, some of them fall squarely within the ambit of incompetence, because if you feel that your MP is not representing you, is not following, the wishes of the people, that is incompetence. And again, the process of recalling members of parliament is not, for example, like the process of impeaching a governor, because a member of parliament is your representative. If you do not feel adequately represented by this person, that is something that you can call incompetence.
Right.
And
but is there a threshold? Is there anything that then we can say we quantify as I don't feel? You can't just wake up and say I don't feel like this guy speaks well.
What you quantify, in my opinion, especially when it comes to this legislative arm of government, the members of parliament who are the people's representatives, is those signatures that you're getting from the people.
The question though, would you be able to argue it out on a technicality? Lawyers do this all the time, and this is the thing that we talk about, the process and the procedure now, and that somebody who then would be arguing on the defense in that case would say, well, come on guys, how do you then judge on a feeling? You see, and this is why we're asking. And I personally am asking because there are many, many other jurisdictions in the country right now who want to follow the same course.
You see, that same reasoning might have been what informed the MPs in the Elections Act previously to have that requirement for a judgment of the High Court.
To set like a threshold of sorts.
Yes, but you see, you do not put such a threshold for people's representatives. It is a democracy. You can recall your representatives if they do not.
Because there was
represent
no
your wishes.
threshold for us to vote for you in the first place. We felt that you are suitable for the job.
Yes.
So we can feel that you're not suitable.
Yeah, we just need to reverse the feeling.
And we can go into the process.
Gentlemen, stay into the next hour. Let's now get into that process. I mean, what happens after this? After Kinandungi and the rest convince others that let's all feel that this person does not represent us, then what should they do? Ndongi Githuku, human rights advocate, defender from Kabete consider you're an advocate of human rights, and Eric Muriuki, an advocate of the High Court. They are our guests. They'll stay here. We'll hear about Kabete and the push to recall the MP.
Good morning. This is the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union has called off plans to occupy the Ministry of Health's premises at Afya House in Nairobi. KMPDU had announced plans to occupy the premises today to ensure that all medical interns are posted to health facilities nationwide in line with the 2017 CBA. Secretary General Davji Hatela says they made a U-turn on their plans following ongoing discussions to ensure that the CBA agreement is met. The CBA was ratified in May following a 56-day nationwide doctors' strike as part of a return to work formula inked between the union and the government. Governors are now calling on the national government to release county funds in order to avoid crippling operations and service delivery to Kenyans. Chair of the Finance Planning and Economic Affairs Committee of the Council of Governors, Fernandez Baraza, says the money they need will serve them for the next 3 months.
Kama county hatupati pesa kwa wakati. Kuanzia mwezi wa 4, mwezi wa 5, mwezi wa 6 hatujapata pesa kutoka kwa serikali kuu. Ndiposa contractors wengi wajalipwa, lakini tunaendelea kufuatilizia serikali kuu ili walete pesa za kufanya maendeleo hapa. Lakini kuna wanasiasa wengine wanasema hatuoni kazi ambayo inafanywa kwa counties. Lakini kwa sababu sisi tumejipanga sawa sawa, tutaendelea kushirikiana na viongozi wote ili tuletee watu wa Kakamega maendeleo licha ya kuwa na ile delay ya kupata pesa kutoka kwa serikali.
Religious leaders have called on President William Ruto to reshuffle his cabinet, and CCK leaders have further urged the president to fire Inspector General of Police Japheth Koome as he fails to take up his duties during the anti-government protests.
First one is to dissolve the cabinet. The president has himself said that his cabinet is incompetent. Kenyans are saying he has an incompetent cabinet. And in addition, the IG of police, we have not heard him speak and we have not seen him. Yet we have come here to mourn over 40 people who have been killed by his officers. We ask him to resign, or in the alternative, we ask the president to discharge him from his duties.
Speaking during a memorial service for 40 victims of the demos, the leaders also admitted to having failed Kenyans by not holding the government accountable, further promising to change their ways.
We are implementing that code of conduct that was given to us and supported by Hesabika to implement it, and we are seeking to implement it in every church, and it includes issues of financial probity, issues of moral conduct, issues of handling politics within the premises of the church.
Cash-strapped public universities could have lost more than 14 billion shillings of taxpayers' money. The report by Auditor General Nancy Gathungu shows that the institutions could not account how the cash was spent. Masai Mara University has the lion's share of the unexplained expenditures to the tune of 3 billion shillings. Moi University had an unexplained 1.6 billion shillings, 1 billion shillings at Technical University of Kenya, 877 million at Kabianga, and 835 million shillings at Kenyatta University. Similarly, 9 universities paid 559 million in irregular allowances, overpayments, penalties, and avoidable legal costs. A 60-year-old man has been killed by a mob after he allegedly stabbed his wife to death in Siaya County. Bernard Odweso is said to have attacked and hacked his 55-year-old wife Pamela Nyango on a Sunday afternoon following a disagreement over 30 shillings, which was meant for church offering. County Police Commander Cleti Kimayo says the man also stabbed his son on the neck and left leg as he tried to stop the commotion. The police boss stated that upon learning of the incident, members of the public and neighbours cornered Odweso and subjected him to mob injustice, thereby inflicting on him multiple head injuries. And in the international scene, France faced potential political deadlock after elections on Sunday threw up a hung parliament, with a leftist alliance unexpectedly taking the top spot, but no group winning a majority. Voters delivered a major setback for Marine Le Pen's Eurosceptic National Rally, which opinion polls had predicted would win the second round ballot, but ended up in the third spot according to pollsters' projections. The results were also a blow to centrist President Emmanuel Macron, who called the snap election to clarify the political landscape after his ticket took a battering at the hands of the RN in the European Parliament elections last month. That's the Newswire. I'm Leah Obaga.
.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right, coming through towards probably the top of the end of traffic hour, taking a quick look at what's happening in the city this morning. Uhuru Highway is very busy. You're coming off the Nyeri Stadium roundabout, heading towards Haile Selassie at the junction, and there's bumper-to-bumper traffic inbound, so that's the one to watch out for. Probably want to use a long route of Raila Odinga. If you're coming off of Mombasa Road, there's an option for you. This is it. A morning of solutions. As you're coming off of Thika Superhighway, traffic still continues, and it's heavy coming in onto Survey. Your service lanes before that will do you good. Think about using them. There's quite some traffic then getting onto Wangari Maathai and then on towards Westlands if you're going in that direction. If you're going into the city, you're going to get stuck right around the Uhuru Highway, but not for too long. It's moving. We're not looking at standstill traffic, at least not for now. Outer Ring looks good. Kangunda Road was busy from morning, still is quite some as you touch on Outer Ring. And then coming in on North Airport Road, we're going to see some traffic there. And it's going to probably last for a while. Okay, so what's happening? Let's take a look at what happens when we're coming out of traffic hour in about half hour or so. Quick look at that shortly. SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
All right, 7 coming up to 8 minutes after 9. How are you doing? Welcome to the final hour of Kenya's biggest conversation, The Situation Room. If you're in Roysambu or anywhere along Thika Road and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I need medical attention, I need to go to a health facility quick, fast, don't think about it very much. You can just go to the Aga Khan University Hospitals, Specialty Care Center.
You'll get it at one point, don't worry. But it's right on the Roysambu roundabout at the Jewel Plaza. And what are you looking for? Chemotherapy? You got it. Dialysis? It's there. Surgeries, minor ones? Absolutely. Internal health care, medicine? Absolutely. All delivered to you by a bunch of specialists. What? Surgeons? Oncologists? They are there. We're also looking at gastroenterologists. Do you know what they do? Gastroenterologists. They look at your whole
to invade your stomach.
You take care of your intestines. Those ones. They're there. As well as oncologists, your cancer treatment specialists. They're all there because we believe, together with the Aga Khan, that you should not have to, Aga Khan University rather, what the Aga Khan believes, something totally different, okay, that you shouldn't have to travel very far from where you work and where you live to access quality medical health care. It's a universal idea of great healthcare here and now.
Okay. And if you travel frequently and, you're constantly thinking, all right, I'm out of this country, I'm in different parts of the world at any one time, you can actually get access to global healthcare in over 183 countries. And also, if you require global medical support, you can get that. Incredibly comprehensive cover, covering pre-existing conditions up to the full cover limit, flexible payment options, 24/7 emergency evacuation assistance, repatriation services as well. If you're outside of the country, you can be repatriated. And this is courtesy of the premium international coverage by the Jubilee Health Insurance. This plan provides coverage limits up to $4.5 million US dollars, not 4.5 million shillings, 4.5 million US dollars. That's how much? That's $500 million shillings.
It's closer to around 600
million.
And I mean, you can really get sick if you want.
What? Up to 4.5 million US dollars, access to global healthcare in over 183 countries. It's perfect if you're thinking that you want the best care all over. Go global with Jubilee, jubileeinsurance.com. Our guests are still here. Ndongi Githuku, voter in Kabete, human rights advocate, and Eric Muriuki, advocate of the High Court. They're here. Ndongi and others in Kabete constituency have decided they want to do something. And this is, look at their MP, Mr. James Githua Kamau Wamashukuru, and they want to recall him. Akuje, waongea hapa nyuma ya tent kidogo.
Ndio aende.
Ndio.
Actually, the interpretation of this activity is in line in the Constitution. What we are seeing is a really simple matter. The sovereign have said, look, folks, we need to realign this thing. We are the sovereign and we delegated power to you. Not you, the sovereign, who delegated power to us. So, since you don't seem to understand this whole sovereign thing and MP thing, and yet you are a member of parliament and you're allowed to create laws because we have a lawmaking parliament, let's bring you back for your education. Come back. So that now we can have this conversation again. And if we find you unfit, because we actually think you're unfit now, we'll find somebody else who we think will fit the bill.
For people who are new to Jerusalem, this is actually a right provided in the Constitution of Kenya, Article 104, like Wakili Muriuki told us, and also in a piece of legislation, the Elections Act. And there's a procedure for it, for recalling members of parliament. So now, Wakili,
Yes.
We don't need to go back to the proverb, but just for purposes of good order, City, let's begin the hour with the day's proverb.
Yes, and I will include my own thoughts on it, and I will also take in Ndu's comment on it. Do not, exactly. Do not blame God for creating this big cat, okay? According to them, it was a tiger, but we're calling it a leopard tiger.
Okay.
But thank him for not giving it wings.
Thank him for not giving it wings.
Yes. Flying leopard. Shida
kubwa. Shida kubwa. Someone said, reminded, it's always look on the bright side of life. That's what Wakili said, right?
Yes.
Always look on the bright side of life.
Is that
Yeah.
Yes.
Nini majini ndo maana float up.
Wakili, take us through this process now.
So the right, let me just begin with the Constitution briefly, is provided under Article 104.
Okay.
And what the Constitution requires members of Parliament to do is to legislate on grounds and the procedure. The grounds that were there in the Elections Act were found to be unconstitutional. However, the court did say that we have Chapter 6, we have the Leadership and Integrity Act, and we have the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crime Act. Yes, so the grounds are there. On top of that, when the members of Parliament, in response to that judgment, did go back to legislate on the County Governments Act for the process of removal of MCAs, they did legislate some grounds which I think would now pass the constitutional test. And the ones that are there in the County Governments Act are gross violation of the Constitution or any other law. We have gross misconduct. We have incompetence. And finally, we have being guilty of an offense punishable by a jail term of more than 6 months. That is as far as the grounds are concerned.
Okay.
Let's come to the procedure. Some aspects of the procedure in the Elections Act were struck out for being unconstitutional, but some remained still. And just like I've mentioned previously, the Parliament did align the process of removal of MCAs with the Constitution, but they haven't yet aligned the process of removal of an MP with the Constitution. So what is the procedure? You're supposed to have a petition in writing signed by a voter who votes in that or who is registered to vote in that constituency.
Okay.
And this petition is to be submitted to the IEBC.
Signed by one voter is enough?
One voter is the petitioner.
Okay.
You are the petitioner.
Okay.
But then you have the support of the 30% of the registered voters.
Supported by 30%.
Yes.
In the case of Kabete constituency, there are 98,000 registered voters. Did I get that right?
Yes.
So we're looking for 30% of this.
Yes.
30% of this is what's around 30,000. So 30,000 registered voters.
Around 32.
Yes, thereabouts. And when I look at these requirements, with my legal lens, it is to safeguard against what she asked about. Mischief of, I don't like this person, I want to. Because by the time you have 30% of constituents signing, this thing, it means you've really not done your bit. And it cannot be that 30%. And when you look at even the MPs that are in Parliament, most of them, they don't get there with even 30% of the vote.
Approval.
Because you have 6-7 candidates. You have one with 18,000 who is probably leading, another one with 15,000, another one with 16,000, things like that. But let's go back to the process.
Okay. Petition signed by a voter supported by 30% of registered voters in that constituency.
Yes, and the petition is supposed to specify the grounds for removal. Like Ndungi's petition, when I had it, it has laid out the grounds. That requirement that there be a concurring judgment of the High Court confirming these grounds, was removed. It's unconstitutional. So the grounds that you have there, those are your grounds, and they should be sufficient. That list that you're collecting should have names, address, national ID number, a voter's card number, or passport number, and then signature or thumbprint.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be at least 15% of the voters in more than half of the wards in the county or constituency. So if Kabete has 5 wards, more than half is 3 wards. Have at least 15%, in those 3 wards.
In those 3 wards.
And this is also to avoid a mischief whereby you find like some constituencies, they have one ward which has so many voters, and the person elected is not from that ward, and you don't like this person, and you go and just get the people from...
So one region can't remove an MP.
Yes, and there is actually a legal requirement that the people signing that petition reflect the diversity of the constituency.
Okay.
Do not have the people of one religion or the people of one gender, people of... let it be diverse.
Sawa.
And then the commission... The commission, the petition is to be submitted to the commission. That petition, the commission is the IEBC. The commission will verify those names within a period of 30 days of receiving the list. And if it is satisfied that those signatures are good, within 15 days it issues a notice of recall to the speaker.
Within 15 days, So all they need to do is don't even look at the grounds. All they need to do is look at the petitioners.
Yes, just
to make sure
just
that the
have your petition specify the grounds that you have written the way he has said.
Yeah.
Then have those signatures. Let the signatures be enough.
Receipt and confirmation of them, though. Receipt and confirmation of signatures, or just receipts?
The verification of signatures is a duty of the IEBC.
Okay.
However, if you do not want to shoot yourself in the foot,
you better do
it. You
have
better
verified
make sure
for
that
yourself.
the people who are signing are genuine people,
Cross
they are
your
voters,
T's.
and
My
it
question was,
won't cost you.
does the IEBC have any mandate to look at the specificity of these grounds, to look whether these grounds, meet this threshold, gross violation, gross misconduct, incompetence, or does the IEBC just look at the number of people who have signed this petition meets the threshold, the diversity of the people who have signed this petition meets the threshold, and that's it?
So when you look at even the IEBC, the name itself, the first word there is independent. It is supposed to be independent so that it can safeguard, against some excesses, either by the voter or by the contestant or by the MP. So yes, it is supposed to look at the grounds and at least, confirm that it is something that makes sense. For example, you can't sign a recall petition on the grounds that I borrowed this MP 10,000 shillings and he didn't give me, or
he's taking people's wives.
Well, that is actually gross misconduct.
The wives are willing, it's still gross misconduct.
Depending on how you look at it.
Sorry.
That one will take us back to chapter 6, the conduct of a state officer. But before we get sidetracked, I want to finish.
So within 45 days of Kinandongi presenting their petition to the IEBC, the speaker can be notified of
the recall. And then the commission is then supposed to conduct a recall election within the relevant constituency within 90 days. And this recall election will be framed in such a way that it attracts a yes or no answer.
It's like a mini referendum.
Yes.
Do we recall this MP or does he remain?
Yes. So it's framed in such a way that the answer is yes
or no.
So
Okay. It's basically like a referendum telling all the voters in Kabete, now come and say whether you support this recall or you do not support the recall.
Exactly.
And if the people say yes, then the MP is recalled.
Yes. So
and the people, if a majority say no.
Before we get there, let's just look at how that mini referendum is done. It is supposed to, first of all, be framed in such a way that it attracts a yes or no answer, and then the commission can assign a symbol for each. I don't know if you remember the 2005 referendum. We had the chungwa and the banana, the orange.
Kwetu itaweza kuwa gate na kitu kingine na unga.
And then a recall election is decided by a simple majority. The voting is, of course, by secret ballot. And then where a recall election results in the removal of that member of parliament, the commission is supposed to conduct a by-election in the affected constituency or county. And in a way that answers one of the questions that was asked earlier, a recalled member of parliament has the leeway to contest again in that by-election. And the rationale behind this is simple. The people are the people. Sovereign power belongs to the people, and they can decide to recall you and still put you back in that position.
So let me ask the question. So if we are talking about the people,
yes,
does the Mheshimiwa also qualify to be one of the people?
He is one of the people.
So you're saying his rights to stand is now being honored. So, you were told come back, but just in case.
Yes. Go confirm.
You can also stand so that we can now confirm we really didn't want you.
But it must be subject to the other parts of the law now.
Yes.
If, for example, it was an issue that violates the Leadership and Integrity Act.
Yes.
If it is a matter that violates all those, then you can be disbarred by the IEBC from qualifying as a candidate.
Exactly.
So you go back into now, do you qualify as a candidate?
Yes.
Okay.
There is that, and there's also maybe election offences. Because the judgment, and when I say the judgment, I'm referring to the Katiba Institute judgment. It said, of course, that right of the recalled MP to stand for election is subject to any disqualifications that can be in the other laws, such as the Leadership and Integrity, the Elections Act, and I think that is that. If you have followed, I think we have laid down the procedure quite well, unless there's something.
Within a year, you can have a new MP in an area.
Not even a year. A year is
it's pushing it.
A year is long. 6 months. From the start of collecting the signatures and verification and declaration
I'm imagining that if the yes vote carries in the mini referendum, then the IEBC has to conduct an election, and then there's another 90 days for them to conduct an election.
Yes. So actually, there's two elections.
So we have 180 days between the mini referendum for the mini referendum and the by-election, and we have 45 days prior. And then there's, depending on how long Kinandongi take to collect those signatures that meet the threshold, another, let's say, 30 days. So we are saying a couple of...
But note that the word is within this period. So it doesn't have to be that you wait for the whole 90 days.
True.
Yeah. You can even do those things following each other.
So, okay, we're talking about all of these things in the context of that there is a functioning IEBC in place.
Yes.
That all of these things happen when an IEBC, with all its commissioners as it was constitutionally instituted to be, that these things would happen in this time frame that we speak of. Now, we cannot run away from the unique position that Kenya is in today, where there is no constituted IEBC when it comes to the commissioners. Now, in order for any kind of election or boundary activation process to take place, you must have your commissioners in place. The IEBC must be complete. So we cannot run away from the reality that this body that you need to activate this thing currently doesn't exist. So from a legal point of view, as well as from a social capital point of view, where the people are saying 1, 2, 3, how does it compound this particular recall activity that the people of Kabete are currently involved in, and that the people of many a constituency for whom the murmurings we have already started to hear then hinge upon? How does it compound that, and what should the call be?
So, do I go first? Or? Okay. So, first of all, our law does not envisage a vacuum in the IEBC, because the IEBC Act provides for
permanent commission.
Sorry,
a permanent commission.
Well,
or
ways of making sure there are no vacuum. And one of those ways is that if members are retiring or their terms are expiring, you begin the process of replacement 6 months prior to the expiry of their term, so that by the time these guys are exiting, there are others ready to go in. And when the members of a commission have been removed, for example, through the commission of inquiry has happened recently, there are timelines, 14 days for which to start the process of replacing them. So what we have right now is a failure of the people in those positions who are required to do those things that lead to replacing the commissioners. And this is a function that belongs to the presidency. The president is supposed to activate the commencement of the replacement of the IEBC. The reason why, according to me, the reason why we have this failure and the president has not done what he's supposed to do is, of course, there's a couple of things. I'm sure you're all aware there's a NADCO process that was ongoing, and one of the things in issue was this IEBC thing. But the other more serious problem, in my opinion, is having a parliament that cannot keep the executive in check, because things like failing to constitute the IEBC within the set timeline, that should be grounds enough for Parliament to institute disciplinary measures against the president, who is supposed to do that. And if we have a Parliament, that cannot do what it is supposed to do, that cannot perform its constitutional mandate, then that means the other people will also get away with not performing the functions that they're supposed to do, because this Parliament is what is supposed to keep them in check. But indeed, as you have said, there is a practical challenge, because now we have 2 elections in a recall process. The recall mini referendum, let's call it that way, and now if it's successful, the resultant by election. And even the process of verification of those voters, it's supposed to be confirmed. Yes, it's supposed to be conducted by the commission. This issue came up in the BBI controversy on verification of signatures for the referendum, and the issue was whether the commission was quorate or it had the quorum, it had the numbers of commissioners, to verify the signature. So something as seemingly simple or seemingly easy as verifying those signatures is a decision that has to be performed by the commission, and the commission is the commissioners.
Okay.
But we do not have, so we have an artificial crisis.
Just let me ask this question. So you're saying the commission is the commissioners?
Well,
no, in terms of functions.
And the decision making.
Yes. Because the commissioners, they are the highest, decision-making organ of that IEBC. We have the secretariat, yes, but the secretariat is to support, the decisions and implement the policies.
They are involved in the day-to-day running of the
yes.
Yes, okay.
Exactly.
So now, when petitions are taken, let's say how many commissions do we envision having?
7 is what the law currently provides, although I know there's a push to amend so that they are 9.
All right, let's say 12, okay? Would they be in a position to actually verify signatures of the nature we speak of?
Well, the commissioners themselves do not sit and verify the signatures. That one is done by the secretariat and the employees, but it is the commissioners who have to sign off on it and take responsibility for the decisions of the commission. So a commission without commissioners is like a car without an engine.
Okay. It looks more like a car without a windscreen. So you can
Before we go to the break, let's go to the break. When you come out of the break, then Ndongi, you respond to this. You people in Kabete are obviously aware that there is no IEBC in place now. So how are you going about that, right? It's 28 minutes to 10. Our guests this morning, Ndongi Githuku, a human rights defender and a Kabete voter, and Wakili Eric Muriuki, advocate of the High Court. The people of Kabete constituency want to recall their member of parliament, and they have already kickstarted that process. What does it mean? This one will show us the way to go for the other 289 constituencies.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Business news with SpiceFM.
This is the Business Wire, brought to you by Standard Bank. I'm Leah Ubaga. The government has moved to safeguard the absorption of junior secondary school JSS teachers and medical interns on permanent terms, despite their hiring having faced uncertainty following the collapse of the Finance Bill 2024. Their hiring will be financed through budget cuts from other government agencies. Kenyan traders spent nearly 28 billion shillings to ship in second-hand clothes in the year ended March, signalling a rising demand for used attire in a blow to President William Ruto's policy of promoting the local textile industry. The import bill for mitumba grew by a third, 33.32% in the 12th-month review period to 27.82 billion shillings. That's the Business Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga.
Financial tips brought to you by Standard Bank. How do I choose a bank for my savings account? Choose a trusted bank. Choose an account that helps you to save your spare cash and build up your cash reserves while offering a competitive rate. Choose a bank that allows for convenience in savings by offering digital solutions to save and build your wealth. Look for banks that charge low or no fees. Find a bank that supports your lifestyle. Stanbic offers 1. Digital account opening, allowing you to open and transact on your account at your convenience. 2. No fees charged on savings account. 3. Interest calculated daily and paid monthly into your savings account, hence compounded interest. We are currently running an exciting offer where we are paying up to 14% interest on our local currency savings account. 4. Free standing orders from your current account to your savings account. 5. Savings account can be opened in any of the major foreign currencies. 6. Borrow against your savings balances.
SpiceFM Business.
All right, let's take a quick look at what's happening on these streets as we come to the end of traffic hour this morning. Just a little bit of it left as you come off of Mombasa Road, heading towards the Southern Bypass. Southern Bypass will take you into the city, the longer route, but you'll be fine. Coming off of Thika Superhighway, there's still a little bit of it left as you then approach Survey. Kiambu Road, I think we're seeing the worst of it having come to an end. Moranga Road on the other end, as you get towards the cinema roundabout. Very, very busy. And then Kijabe Street is doing something. Kipande Road also doing something else. I'm not quite sure what's happening there. Could be because of all this traffic that's coming off of Wangari Maathai trying to find its way onto Huru Highway. So that's that. If you can avoid it, do so. James Gishuru coming in from Wayakiwe is busy as you approach the junction of Mzima Springs. Somebody did something there, so that's going to slow down for a bit. Kangundo Road since morning still says we're going to do traffic for a while, so let us be. Keeping an eye on things through the day. Help us out, guys. SpiceFM KE on X.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right, the Kabete MP's recall petition is up. People have signed. 8,000 of 98,000 voters have so far signed. You need at least 29,400 Tungi to meet the legal threshold of 30% of the registered voters. Make sure that they are widely representing the wards in your constituency. And then you're then supposed to take that petition plus the IDs and signatures of those voters to the IEBC. Within 30 days, IEBC should verify them. If they find that everything is fine, notify the speakers of the National Assembly or the Senate, whichever is relevant, within 15 days, you said, right? And then once the speaker has been notified, then IEBC can now conduct a mini referendum in that constituency. Now the question is, all those things, the first point of call is IEBC. Andu asked, you're aware that there is no IEBC, are you? So what's the plan?
Yeah, we are aware that there is no IEBC. And one of the demands, now there's a national demand that the people of Kenya have as they continue chanting Ruto must go, and we have gotten some of the gains, is that the IEBC must be constituted. The commissioners have to be put in place. And he has spoken, just like he did with the finance bill, by saying that he has listened to the voice of the people. So that is one of the things we are waiting for. In case that doesn't happen, what we are discussing in Kabete is that, as my brother Wakili here has said, we cannot be in a vacuum at any moment on this process and other processes of law in Kenya. So what will happen is that we'll go to the High Court for an interpretation. What does this mean? The commission is not there.
We want
in
our
place.
MP
so
to
tutaenda kotini, tuseme, sasa tuambieni, tuende wapi. So this is not in vain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But then, if the president says, like he had said, that he's going to sign the IEBC amendment bill into law within this week, and then they start that whole journey of the selection panel recruitment, maybe within the next 40 days or 60 days, you can have an IEBC. Are you willing to wait that long?
Well, first and foremost is that it will be wonderful that we'll have already collected the signatures. We'll already have done the petition. So the commissioners that will come in will find the entry with the Kabete petition.
Their work cut out for them.
It will be cut out for them. You know? But the thing is that we believe in the process. We believe in the Constitution. We believe in the law. So we trust that actually the president will listen to the voices of the people again this time. So that we have this in place tuache kupotezeana wakati sana. You know? Yeah.
Who's funding your campaign?
We, the people. We are funding our campaign. There are people who have actually come out or to try to approach us, saying that I would anonymously like to contribute. But we have said no. We have said we don't want to be funded, first and foremost, by people who we don't know, in terms of are they from Kabete or are they not from Kabete. So what we are doing, like with the printing of the forms, tunachanga tu kwa group. You know, like for me in Mumuto, I don't need much to print 10 forms. It's like 100 bob. Why should I go looking for money for that? Okay. So we are very alert on traps that money comes along with. We do not want this same MP to send somebody to give us money so that we start scuttling, so that we start fighting. Already, there is a chief whose name I won't mention, who has approached us. And he has said, if we do like 2 mic, can't we talk? I mean, 2 million shillings. 2 million shillings is the amount that these MPs were given to vote. Yes. And when we did the calculations with Kabete, 98,000 voters, divided by 2 million, ilikuwa nika 20 bob. It was even less than what yes waliuzwa. Yes waliuzwa 30 pieces of silver. Na sasa huyu ametuuza 20 pieces. Hata wanaangusha bei ya kuuza mtu. Okay. So we don't want money. We don't want money. Already we have officially applied for the official register at the IEBC. Na hiyo pesa itakuja around 21,000. Okay? That money we can be able to get from the people of Kabete themselves, and we'll be accountable.
And I am curious as to what the response is from the member of parliament, because you did meet him and you returned the unga, isn't it?
We didn't meet him, but
you didn't meet him.
He ran away.
Oh wow, okay. So, so I'm curious as to what his response to all of this has been so far, in terms of what you must have heard the grapevine. Usually, is a wash, with stuff. Oh, ametuma chief.
Ya kwanza ni hiyo, ametuma chief. Chief akatu offer 2 million, tukakataa.
So that you can keep quiet.
Yeah, so that we can keep quiet. But we have refused to keep quiet. We have refused to receive any money. The other thing is, I told you that one of the grounds ambayo tunamtoa nayo is haongeagi in parliament. Kwa hivyo hata sisi hatuongeleshagi. Actually, since the time we started this process, we haven't seen or heard from the MP Githua Mashukuru in Kabete. We don't know where he is. So I think he's run away because most of them are not here. Wanaenda na to probox sahi. So Githua Mashukuru and his big VX is black. We know the number plate. Hatujaiona in Kabete. So we are happy and sad. Happy that the people's voices are making these MPs scatter.
But then even now he's not working.
But even now he's not working. So if he's not working in parliament, he's not working with the people.
This is all of working in parliament. Be fair to the man, all right?
Yes.
He does not give himself the mic to speak on the floor of the House.
He doesn't. And that is one of the reasons we sent him to parliament, to get the mic and to speak on the behalf of the people of Kabete.
It's a speaker's job. It's a speaker's... If I put in my request to speak... And the speaker does, and I don't catch the speaker's eye. That's if I don't catch the speaker's eye,
then you shouldn't be in parliament.
My people cannot really.
Yeah. If you don't catch the speaker's eye, then you should not be in parliament. You are in parliament to catch the speaker's eye.
But also, a bulk of parliamentary work is done in committee.
Yes, it is.
Do you know which committees your MP belongs to?
This is interesting. Hata sidhani najua.
That's a problem now.
Yeah.
This is problem number one. If the people do not understand the role and the functions and how an MP works, How can they start now?
You see also, it is the
because
duty
you're
of
looking
the
at Gate. That is not the job of an MP. Gate. If I said
he's more active.
If the school administration has decided to put up a gate and put my name on it, why are you crucifying me? Ask the school head.
We are going to ask the school heads as well when they come back from Dubai.
If the CDF committee sends members of certain to Dubai, I am not the patron. I am not the chairman of the CDF. I am not the executive of the CDF. I play no role.
I don't even decide how money is spent.
I don't even,
CDF.
yes, in CDF. I have no role to play. And the CDF local constituency committee has taken people to parliament. I'm as flabbergasted as the rest of us, Kabete people.
Yeah.
Now you are taking it on me. Let's take it on the CDF.
Yes. But you know, that's the academic aspect of this discussion. People know the MPs.
Yes.
They know how influence is peddled. They know the people who are used to peddle this influence. But more importantly, they're also very, very keenly aware of what is happening in the country and what is happening elsewhere. They even know how this MP was elected in the first place, who he sided with. So there are many things that they know that they probably cannot put in writing and say, Unajua, we cannot put this in petition because it doesn't follow the law or the processes that would actually get them what they want. Even if we put that aside, they are tired of the MP, okay? They are fed up. So now if you're looking for reasons to fill in the gaps, they are fed up. They don't want the person.
Yeah, actually, Latiff, if I could go back to your question on the committee, he is the chairman. I was trying to defend him kidogo because sitaki kumwembara sana. He is the chairman of the Sports and Culture Committee in Parliament. And as you can see, we have got nice stadiums in Kabete. As you can see, we got music studios. I'm an artist. There's nothing like that on the ground.
Ngoja kidogo. For a moment there, I thought this is very good.
No, it's not. We have Kanjeru. We have sarcastic. Well, it's just a little bit of satire because I'm smiling so that I don't cry.
Hamna stadium.
Hatuna stadium.
Na hizi mastudio hakuna.
We have Mwimuto Wheelers Football Club. Ukiona ile kiwanja they play on, we call it red carpet. Because our red soil, you know, is what they play on. We have a space in Kanjeru, which is in Kabete, where they have always used this as a dangling carrot thing of saying Nitajenga Stadium at Kanjeru.
Okay, how many?
I don't know whether money is released and then not in a Kulu, but our chairman for the sports committee is Gidhua wa Mashukuru. Kenya.
So, you see, these people expect, because their MP is the chairman of the sports, that everything sports in Kabete should then be working. They forget that the MP just oversights the sports docket. He does not allocate money that goes into the sports ministry that then goes to doing stadium.
The oversight, exactly. What is oversight? Yeah, that's how you should do it.
Even my constitution right now, I'm on Article 95, which provides for the role of the National Assembly. And the National Assembly represents the people of the constituencies and special interests in those, in the National Assembly. Special interest is the women rep, and also the nominated members to represent youth, to represent people living with disabilities. The National Assembly deliberates on and resolves issues of concern to the people. So already Article 95 imposes a duty to deliberate and resolve. And how do they resolve? By making legislation, legislative pronouncements, or things like policies and all that, policy pronouncements. The National Assembly enacts legislation in accordance with subsection 4 or part 4 of this chapter, and specifically determines the allocation of national revenue between the levels of government as provided for in chapter 12. It appropriates funds for expenditure by the national government and other national state organs. It exercises oversight over national revenue and its expenditure. The National Assembly reviews the conduct in the office of the President, the Deputy President, and other state officers and initiates the process of removing them from office. And finally, it exercises oversight of state organs. The one last but important duty is the National Assembly approves declarations of war and extensions of state of emergency. So those are the duties of the National Assembly, by extension the duties of an MP. And I hear what you're saying, and the expectation is not for the MP, to come with his money and fix a stadium, come with his money and fix a what, but through or using the tools that are available to him constitutionally, such as appropriation of national budget, make sure that his people are sorted.
They get the services
in this way or that other way. And Latiff, just as a way of trying to lay some basis to what Ndungi is saying, when you look at the genesis of Article 104, it came into the Bomas draft of the Constitution. I think back then it was Section 112 of the Bomas draft. It was there because in the times before the 2010 Constitution, members of Parliament would come during the election, get the votes, then relocate to Nairobi with their family, and their relatives and their concubines and whatever. The next time you'll see them is during the next election. So when we had this national conversation to give ourselves a new constitution, we said, or rather the people said, let us give ourselves a tool, to be able to keep these members of Parliament in check. And members of Parliament are representatives of the people. That is one of the reasons why, by the way, the Constitutional Court declared unconstitutional the legislation that required you to have a degree for you to contest as an MP. Because if the people decide they want someone who never went to school, it is the people. Sovereign power belongs to
the people.
To the people. If they decide they want a PhD holder, and that's why when you look at our Parliament, it has professors of law. It has others whose academic credentials are questionable.
And Mashukuru.
It has even class 3 or 4 dropouts. And that is the right of the people. You have a right to choose whoever you want
as it should be
to represent you. But that right also comes with the right of recalling this person. If you do not feel that this person is doing what you want him to do for you, is not representing you, you have the right to recall this person as per Article 104.
Whether a PhD holder or a nothing holder
or a builder of schools.
There was something you mentioned about civic education.
Yes.
What exactly is contained in the contents of your civic education? What exactly are you educating people about?
That's a bit of a vague question, but I'll try to cover it because
let me make it a little more
civic
vague.
Education is just people knowing. Let the people know about their country, about the laws in their country, about the roles of their leaders. About their rights, how to exercise those rights, and all that, including in voting. All those things. Civic education is very wide. And just before we came into the studio, we were just discussing with Ndungi outside here that it's a very magical almost moment for Kenya to see people being interested in what their parliament is doing. And this has been heightened by this finance bill crisis, because in the past I was telling Ndungi, or we were discussing that parliament used to sneak legislation through without people knowing. Even this thing of public participation. The way these people do it sometimes is they go and get 1,000 people from where and where and where. They pay them 1,000 shillings each, and you're given the question to ask when you go for public participation. And by the end of the day, when the exercise is done, it's like a rubber stamp. But now Kenyans are becoming more and more aware, which is, this civic awareness that you're talking about. They want to know, what does the Constitution say about this? They want to know, what are the roles of my MP? What are the roles of my senator? What are the roles of my governor? So this awareness is increasing.
And you're saying that this awareness has been driven by the people. They are the ones who have shown the interest in wanting to know these specific things.
Yes, and it's it's almost logical that it came with the finance bill, because it's people's pockets. It's where it hurts. So because of that, it was kind of what opened people's eyes. But now it has even gone beyond the finance bill. People are scrutinizing things like land laws. The other day on these Twitter spaces, I was doing a civic education on the land laws amendment bill, which fortunately has now been withdrawn. I saw the backdated letter from the leader of majority withdrawing those two bills on amendment of the land laws. People are starting to want to know about this bill on assembly, and it was called, I can't remember, but it was about Article 37. There's a member of parliament who had brought a bill, to try and regulate Article 37. And yes, that MP, and that bill, when you look at it, you just laugh because it's giving so much power to the regulator, who is OCS, unconstitutional power, mind you. People are starting to want to know things. People are starting to be curious about how they are represented, how they are led, how their money is spent, how they should exercise their rights, and it's a good thing.
This issue of the pinch that we now have, the pain the pain we have in our pockets, and in our ability to actually afford day-to-day living. Are you also getting people to understand the continuous nature of positions of authority and power? Because if you were to summarize the problem we have is deni. We have more debts than we know what to do with, and that's consuming all our money. Well, at least
yes,
3/4 of it.
And you see, even in your house,
yes,
you don't take a deni, to go to a club and and have fun.
What makes you think
when you look at
what makes you think I don't do that?
Well,
he's saying you should not.
Well, if you do that, at least the country should not be following your example.
But you see,
when you look at
the country shouldn't follow my example.
Yes.
All right, carry on.
When you look at the Eurobond, just this morning before I came here, I was looking at a report from the previous Auditor General, whereby $1 billion of a Eurobond could not be accounted for, because the reason why you should take debt as a nation is to spur economic growth.
It's for development.
It's development that spurs economic growth.
Yes.
So that, this road that you have brought here is able to open the transportation sector. People are making money.
It's
People
supposed to make
taxes.
ease. It's supposed to make many things that help with that. Yes.
Yes. But you see, sometimes you're even borrowing to cover... it's called recurrent expenditure.
That's actually
to keep the lights on.
That's actually illegal. You see why I asked this? Is because the debts that we speak of were not acquired by this government alone. They have done a very good job of ensuring that it has reached the height it has reached, but it started in the previous government.
Yes.
Now, yes, it did. That's where the rot actually started setting in, because the government of 2013 inherited a government that was fairly well organized and was very stable. But we started complaining then about the borrowing. Then they say, hey, this borrowing is a bit much. Hey, this borrowing is a bit much. And some debts we have, the money didn't even reach the country. And they wonder, okay, so what did we borrow it for? It was meant for the country, and so forth and so forth. Why I say this is, it is also, if you are going to apportion blame, you must apportion it correctly. Because somebody must be blamed for what they have done. Now, unfortunately, the reality doesn't bear what I'm saying. What I'm saying now is academic. They say, okay, we've heard tumekusikia hiyo ni mzuri sana, lakini who's president? Okay.
Yes, exactly. That is so true.
It is true.
Because the government of the day is the one that is doing all this mess. So whether you inherited it or not, what are you doing about it? Why would you want to fuata nyayo, of bad governance.
Yeah.
Why don't you start changing and reversing the ills instead of telling us every day, oh, ni wale walianza. No. Where we are today, and that's why I like what he said about civic education, is that Kenyans are woke. When you see these, the Gen Z and the people protesting in the streets, they have rubber shoes, sneakers, they have water, simu, na bendera. Sio? You know what else they have in their pockets? Katiba. They are carrying the katiba. And when police come to beat them, they tell them, ebu nionyeshe ni wapi, unasema, unichape. Where does it say? Nowhere. So that's how the government or whoever is sponsoring the goons have resorted to goons. Can you believe it? Because police can see that they're breaking the law.
Yeah.
Because Kenyans are woke. You know who needs civic education right now? It is the politicians. We need to take civic education to parliament, because they seem to not understand what we are talking about and how we are feeling and how conscious we are. So right now, we need to be given sessions. We go to parliament to funze hawa watu adabu ya governance, because we know, and now wanaonekana hawajui. And that's why a person like my good friend Fanyamambo is saying, yes, nyinyi si waheshimiwa, hatutawaita waheshimiwa. How can you be a mheshimiwa who doesn't follow the law, who doesn't follow the constitution? So we are not a mheshimiwa, you are a mwakilishi. So our wakilishis need to learn, and we'll do this for free. We'll teach them civic education for free. Musitulipe.
Starting with Gedhua wa Mashukuru.
Starting with Gedhua wa Mashukuru.
All
yes,
right.
Yes.
Ndongi, thank you very much for joining us. Ndongi Gedhuku, a voter in the Kabete constituency, human rights defender, award-winning actor, and Wakili Eric Muriuki, they've been our guests. Thank you for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation. Tomorrow, we talk about President Ruto's task force to audit the national debt. Jimmy Wanjeki will be here at 8.